What's up, guys? Today we are joined by one of the most famous chefs in history. His restaurants have been frequented by everyone from half-white rappers to half-white presidents. His spot, Carbone, is harder to get into than a menopausal mothership. Jeff, I don't blame you, okay? We all get excited when a brown box gets delivered. Anyway, today, he is gonna tell us the #1 trick to get into any restaurant in the world, why Michelin stars are nonsense, and how to bet on yourself and build a business even in a recession. Give it up for New York City's own Mario Carbone.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm very excited for this. There's so many questions that I have to ask you. I want to learn about it all. But first of all, I want to know how does someone get a reservation at Carbone?
Someone, are we asking for you?
No, I just want to know someone. I just want to know someone. Not even me. How does just a regular guy who doesn't have a podcast?
It's a democratic society. I mean, it's a policy that's just 1 month out.
You're just going to lie to the people.
Yeah.
You're going to lie to the people immediately at the beginning of the podcast.
Exclusive restaurant.
Imagine this.
Let's imagine.
You have 200 seats to fill for a night to make your money.
Yeah.
You're gonna let just you can't leave it to chance, like that these two people are gonna come in, they're gonna fill those seats and they're gonna spend good money tonight. So of course we keep information on everybody, like who's coming in, who are our regulars, take care of those people, what's their spend, so that I know these 200 people tonight are coming in, not just a random set of people, because that's drastically gonna change what we do tonight as a business.
So it's almost never random?
It's not never,
when was the last time you had a walk-up?
It happens, but it's at Carbone, it's rare because it's in such demand. I mean, so we do put out reservations. Generally what we do is we put out the sort of the shoulders, right? We put out
5
early.
5 p.m., 10 p.m.
Yeah, because we have the internal demand to fill it with regulars.
Okay. Can somebody like grease a
can
host?
get into, I mean, it's not about necessarily greasing a host.
Thank you.
I would say.
Like you came in here, you greased me, right? You gave me Cuban cigars. These are real Cuban cigars. Supposedly
I
real.
got a connection at the airport.
You got at the airport. We snitching already. Is that what we doing? Duty free. So hold on. So these are real Cubans. We'll once we get a little lighter in here, we'll probably light these. Oh, you're not going to smoke, right?
No.
Will you have one?
I got too much asthma.
And then we need a little ashtray too. Okay, so you come in here, you grease me. I don't even know what this greasing gets, right?
You want to grease a kitchen? How about you ready? You want to grease my kitchen one night?
Yeah.
You take the 5 o'clock, 5:30 reservation.
Okay.
Bring in 2 cases of beer. Go straight back into the kitchen. Drop it in the pass. Be like, hey, it's for you guys tonight, chefs. From me, Schultz, reservation at 2, 5 o'clock.
Wow.
Oh, shit. See, now we're talking.
That costs you $30.
And then what? And what happens after that?
They're gonna be like, who? Then one of the chefs will be like, yo, someone just dropped 2 cases of beer. They're like, who's that? I don't know. Let's go find out. Look it up. Like, oh, Andrew Schultz, two top at 5 o'clock. Has he been here before? No, first time. Wow, you did the right thing. Send him out a little something from us. And then all of a sudden, your name starts to populate in our system. Then maybe you order a nice bottle of wine. Treat the staff nicely. Now, all of a sudden, the next time you call to make a reservation, you give us your phone number. Immediately, your name is going to pop up and be like, Andrew Schultz.
Wow.
Oh, so there's a database that rewards the type of customer you are.
Well, it's more that we keep
information on everybody.
Tons of notes on everybody. And it could go from allergies, the table they like, the table they don't like, preferential amount of time when they want to dine, et cetera, et cetera. So we keep notes on everybody because that's the crux of the business. Who's coming in tonight, right? That's everything. We can't just open the door to random.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that go for every nice exclusive restaurant? Is this
everyone keeps notes, and they all do it their own way, but everyone keeps notes on their customers. And there's softwares for this that help you track all this information. How many times have they been there? What was the last time they were there?
But the beer move, that would work in most places.
The beer move works in most places.
Thank you,
It works great.
Really appreciate it. Guys, this is Ricky, everybody.
Hey,
Ricky.
Hi, guys. How
AKA
are
the
you?
face.
Looking
The
sharp.
face. Ricky the face.
I'm delivering drinks all day. Anything you guys need, all right?
All right, well, yeah, let's get something cooking, man.
You're
What do we
You're an
got?
Aperol Spritz guy.
I like a spritz. I'm not going to lie.
Aperol Spritz on the way.
Thank you.
Spritz.
Anybody else?
I need a nice mocktail.
He's shaking it right now for you.
It's already happening. I'm going to have a Spritz as well, Rick.
2 spritzes, absolutely.
All right, let's go. Spritz would be great.
3 spritzes.
Thank you, sir.
Spritz is all around.
Spritz is all around.
That's a smart
Mocktail.
move, guys.
Right away.
Smart
Okay.
move. Go all the way around.
Okay. Oh, they make a little vagina out of it. This is
A little
cool.
V cut.
Okay. So
we call it a V cut.
Yeah, the V cut. Oh, this is the normal thing?
Yes.
Oh, I thought this was like some crazy cigar cut that we got here.
It helps to not canoe a little, you know?
Okay, so there is a way. So back in the day, I would think you just tip well, and all of a sudden that
Yeah,
maybe can
that's
get
what
you
I'm still
something.
thinking.
It helps. I mean,
What's well though? Like 100%, 200%. What's well?
100% of the bill.
That's insanity,
is
right?
insanity. It happens.
Talking tariffs now? Like, what
We've
you
got,
fuck? No.
we've got one guy who comes in every now and again and will spend a great deal of money, and regardless of what the bill is, leaves 100% tip.
So Rogan,
wow. I guess it's
every
not as
time
crazy.
I go out to eat with Rogan, he tips 100%.
Yeah.
Every single time, which I tell him every single time is insane, but I want the waiters and the staff at the restaurant to make some money. I never even considered the idea of walking into the kitchen with alcohol when the restaurant already has alcohol, and then how do I even get into the kitchen?
The kitchen's not getting the restaurant's alcohol. So at the end of the night, they're going to have your 2 cases of beer to crack open after a long service. They're hot, they're sweaty. It's been a long night. And
But the kitchen still has agency, meaning they can send out some dishes, send out a little extra.
they're guaranteed you're going to get a little something.
So when I had my daughter, somebody told me, they were like, listen, you got to take care of the staff at the hospital. If you go out and get food, get pizza for everybody. You go out and get bagels for everybody. And they did nothing different than I expected.
But you didn't
But
get
it
any
seemed
VIP.
like maybe we did. I'm not even sure. Actually, I think they delayed the pregnancy as much as they possibly could to keep on getting free food. My wife was in labor for 24 hours. If I got them like some Snickers or whatever, maybe we would have had that baby in 6.
Yeah, why wait? Yeah.
Right? I'm incentivizing them.
Backfired. Well, this is a traditional. I mean, if you're at a sushi bar, that's a classic move. It's like, hey, you get a round of beers for all the sushi chefs. That's a classic move.
Yeah.
So
First thing you do when you sit at a nice sushi bar, buy a round of beers for all the chefs.
This is
This
one
is
of the reasons.
game-changing.
One of the reasons we're so excited to sit down with you is learning restaurant etiquette from the inside. I feel like it is so, and I want to get into your history. I want to get into how you built this thing and how you put those other 2 guys that don't do much on your back. You know what I mean? I really want. I mean,
What are those guys' names again?
Is Zaznik or something like that? And what is it? Torino or
Toronto?
something? Yeah, Toronto and Zaznik.
He's down the block.
Yeah,
Tariffs.
yeah. No, great guys. Lucky. No. No. But in all seriousness, understanding this kind of stuff offers crazy value to the average consumer. So you're bringing a couple cases of beer. Now, what happens if a waiter goes, "Why are you going into the kitchen like with 2 cases of beer?"
No, commonplace. Or you give it to the waiter and say, hey, I brought a couple cases of beer for the kitchen.
Does the type of beer matter?
I mean, chefs drink, simple, cold, easy drinking.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Throw a bag of Bull in there.
Don't bring them any like weird hazy IPAs. Like they don't want that.
Yeah.
From what I think the chefs are, Corona.
Yeah.
Tecate.
I'm Modelo for the boys.
A little Modelo, yeah.
Not mad at Modelo.
Okay, there's a good question. Actually, no. I want to stay on these. hacks. Okay.
I got another for you.
Yes.
You order a nice. So this is the front of the house. You're gonna get some appreciation. You order a bottle of champagne. Whether you're talking to the waiter or the sommelier, you order the bottle of champagne, and right before they leave, you kind of grab them, give them a little whisper, and say, "I don't want the champagne flutes. Bring me wine glasses." A real wine drinker never, ever drink champagne out of champagne flutes.
Wow.
This is bars. Keep going.
Wait,
And
why?
the second you tell them, I want, if you say AP glasses, which is all purpose, or you say bring me white wine glasses for the champagne, that immediately says you know what the fuck you're talking about.
And that helps. I don't know. It helps.
It's better for the champagne. The whole like no one likes drinking out of these skinny little things. It's actually not great for the champagne.
Okay.
You want a real wine glass for your champagne.
Okay.
No one ever does that.
Yeah.
So the second you tell them that immediately puts them on that you know what you're talking about.
And you get a little more respect.
You get immediate. You're gonna get immediate respect.
Okay.
And honestly, and it makes sense that it is this way, but I never considered that it was similar to like the nightclub, in that the more that you spend, the more data you're giving the restaurant, and the more they're going to prioritize you in the future. I never even considered
It's all digital. So as soon as once you call for the second time, immediately the person that's on my team that's picking up the phone or looking at the email has side by side your information, the back of your baseball card. Here's what you do. Here's who you are. Here are your likes, dislikes. Here's what you spent. Here's et cetera, et cetera. Not that it's always about spending. We just want to curate a room so that it's not random.
So what we're trying to figure out is what the cheapest way to get currency in the restaurant is. So bringing the beers
Great one.
to the staff.
This is already assuming you got the res. I'm curious, when you walk up to the door, there's the Maitre D, which I have a long-lasting beef with Maitre Ds in New York City.
You want to get into it?
I'm curious. I just get frustrated, but sometimes, you know, because you get this girl, she graduated college like a year and a half ago, and
Got a lot of power.
She holds power over this entire restaurant, every person that comes in. Is there anything you can do or say to a maitre d' that might kind of tilt the scales in your favor?
Thank you, sir.
Saying, "Oh, my mom's in town and she's having a birthday." Anything that would kind of,
I mean, those they're gonna see through those.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, walk up reservations, because at that point you're at their mercy.
Thank you so much, Ricky.
I think try to
God
kill them
bless.
with kindness. You'll take anything. Listen, I'll take your worst 2 seats. I'll take the bar stools. I'll take whatever you got. You know,
So instead of trying to big shot,
yeah, that's
humbling yourself.
because that's all they've got, right? All they've got is this little bit of power that they've been given at this front desk. To your
Right.
point, I would go with, listen, I'll take whatever it is. Give me your worst 2 seats. I'll be happy tonight. I'll be in and out quick.
That's
try
okay,
Oh, I got a thing
Because
at 8 o'clock.
they have to worry about what's been plotted for the night, right? Like, so at Carbone, it's a 2.5. It's about a 2.5 hour meal. So we're plotting these reservations, right? It's a very tricky little dance that we are assuming the 5:30 reservation is going to be done at 8 o'clock, right? But it may not happen that way. So the fact that if they've got an extra table, they might give it to you if you're like, I'm going to be in and out quick.
Does how you dress for the walk up make any difference?
It depends on the restaurant.
If you look like this, then
Look, I'll trim it. I would trim it a little.
I think it depends on the restaurant a little bit, but really, I would say kill them with kindness. Try to get in and out quick. I'll take any seat you got.
what about the friendly handshake with a little cash in it?
I mean, that's as old as time.
But does that work?
I think it works. I'm not advocating for it because my team is very well paid, but I mean, I'm sure it
Would
works.
that be offensive? Obviously not in your establishments, but another restaurant. Like if you were to be like, "Hey, there's a little $20," you think a maitre d' would be like,
oh,
fuck,
like it could be beneath
who the
them.
fuck am I? Like, or you? You're trying to pay me $20 to get you a table?
If it turns out you're like talking to the general manager and not just like, you know, a well-paid general manager, and you try to give him a 20 spot, he's gonna be like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Bro, I tried to pull the I know the owner thing once at
Carbone?
No, that's this week. No, at Emilio Bellato's, whatever. And I'm talking to this big guy out front, and I'm like, yeah, you know, Emilio told me to come by because, you know, just a table for 2, whatever, like that. And he's like, oh, did he? And I was like, yeah. He said, what time did he tell you to come? And I'm like, around like 7:30, whatever, like that. And I'm like, I'm a little bit early. He goes, oh, okay, cool, all right, yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. And I'm like, okay, I walk away. And
Thank you.
Alla salute.
next person that walks up to him goes, Emilio. Whoops. No, I'm not thinking he's going to be sitting outside of his restaurant on a bar stool, like deciding who gets in
Well, I
and who
think there's
doesn't.
2 of them. There's a junior.
Well, there's the kid, and then there's the
Yeah.
dead, 100%. Anywho.
I mean, that's so funny.
Should have been like, hey, I'm a comedian. I was just fucking with you.
I knew it was you.
Okay, so you got a lot of good restaurants under your umbrella. Andrew and I argue a lot of times. He's become this like real foodie type, and
That was really derogatory.
it was,
Right?
and I meant it in a derogatory way because he's like very pretentious about it.
Yeah.
What I love, I was just saying this. I went to Torrisi. It was the best restaurant experience I've had in the city because it was elevated, but it didn't feel pretentious. A lot of times I'll go to Michelin Stars places and I end up being underwhelmed. Not a lot of times, a few times. How do you feel about that? Is that like a general, hey, Michelin star, you know this is going to be a solid restaurant experience or not?
There's a lot to unpack with Michelin. There's a lot
A lot
there.
to unroll.
There's a
Get it?
I see what you did there.
It's a tire.
Michelin started as a subsidy for the tire company. Now it's no longer. So now it's a business. So I think you got to take that with a grain of salt. They're in their own business of selling
Yeah.
books. Michelin's tricky for a lot of reasons. If you're to the restaurant, the kind of restaurant you're talking about, they're going for that accolade. There's this sort of assumption that you have to do it in a really tight way, a really, library style, hush environment, very sort of the chef is right. He wants you to eat this from the left to the right sort of environment because
He loves that.
they're coveting these stars.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good business model. We are the opposite, right?
Yes.
I think that chefs well-trained, high-level chefs fall in one of two categories, and we're firmly on one side than the other. There's two categories. Not that there's anything wrong with the two categories, but there's two firm categories. One category is the chef that spends all their training, all their work, their life's journey to make something that you've never had before. That's a very dangerous proposition.
Yeah.
But if you have whatever this thing is and you don't like it, the chef can at least fall back on the ego and say, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You didn't get what I was going
This
for.
is the pretentiousness.
Yeah, and that
You didn't get it.
infuriates me because it's like, no, I get what tastes good and what doesn't, dude. I get it.
And I preach to my team and my chefs, we're on the other side of that. We are equally dangerous. We are trying to make for you the thing that you've had thousands of times
Right.
before. And I want to make one of the best ones you've ever had. But you know exactly what it's like. So I can't be like, oh, he didn't get that meatball.
You're competing with their grandma.
You know what a meatball is, right?
Yeah.
You may not know what that chef was trying to go for, but like if you didn't like it, it's probably not good.
Yeah, you don't have that fallback.
But if I win, I've got a customer for life. I've got someone who's coming multiple times a week. If that chef wins, you may go once a year. You may actually never go back again, even if it's great.
I never go back to those places, even if it's the really abstract ones. It's a fun, cool experience. But it's like I recently went to places called it's a Chicago chef. He had throat cancer or something like that. Alinea just did a pop-up in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And my wife and I went, and the food was great, and we got into a nice argument, which was uncomfortable for all the other people during our seating.
That's fun, though. That's love. That's
at a
real.
communal
That's
table?
Real.
Oh,
Y'all
no,
honest.
no.
Honest.
Not only at a communal table, you change tables like 4 or 5 times. So they had to deal with that fight 4 or 5 times. And it was new people sitting next to us every different time. So you would get a little piece of this. No! Not letting this go. You think just because you put the dessert all over the table, I'm going to let the fucking fight go?
For the record,
No!
everyone in the restaurant loves that. Okay, going to dinner with my wife, seeing a couple arguing, I'm like, yes.
Oh, it's theater.
It's just fun to listen. You're like at dinner and a show.
Bro,
It's
it
the best.
was, I mean, because at the end of the dessert, they like, it's all deconstructed or whatever, you know? And they're like,
And that's 3 Michelin star. I mean,
That
that's the
infuriates me.
highest award. At one point, he was the highest rated American restaurant we had.
I literally pay you to construct the food. I know I never paid anybody to take some shit apart from me. I can do that. Believe me, I can do that. I can take apart a lasagna.
yeah. But I will say the food was good, but you would hate it. You definitely would hate it.
It's important that they exist. It's important that they exist. It's just not my model. I'm in a business. We're at the corner of art and commerce. Like I'm in a business model, right?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with preaching the art and teaching the art of business.
Yeah.
That is also a craft, and we need to keep the lights on, and we need to keep people paid.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money, do you know how much money your wait staff makes?
I mean, depending on the restaurant, a substantial amount.
Like, what does a waiter at Carbone in Miami make? Like, on average?
Over 150,000 a year.
So if you're guaranteed 150,000 a year, and that's what's on the books. That's not even like people throwing them a little shit on the
Well,
side.
but there's very little cash these days. Everything's cards. No one carries cash anymore. No one.
So I always wondered, like, does some of your staff that was in like cash tip positions get upset about that? Like the people that are doing valet, these, like, how do they manage that? Their whole life was cash tips.
I guess valet is still. I'm trying to think of when I carry cash at this point.
I know.
Valet is one of the few ones
Yeah.
that you still want to have that.
Yeah.
You know, but the wait staff, it's all in credit cards, which is good because it actually used to be really dangerous because these restaurants have all this cash. At the end of the week, some employees got to take like comical bags of cash and might as well have a dollar sign on it to a bank. They're just waiting to get robbed.
Because you were putting
tons
it
of robberies.
all in the bank. I
Yeah,
know.
like all of it. 100% went
Right
into
to
the bank.
11.
Yeah, you weren't giving it to Ricky to face to go put under, under a mattress.
He's on the
somewhere.
mattress. You gotta go to the mattresses. It's COVID.
But yo, it is a crazy thing because like restaurants in the city, any like small mom and pop business in the city that dealt with cash was given, like, if you want to be generous, 50% of it to the government. And that business completely changed now that everything goes digital. So you got to adjust to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
for that same reason. Like
Wait,
when I go-
wasn't Carbone only cash initially?
No, never.
Just with me?
That was strictly your policy.
It was me
Yeah.
pausing because the card kept bouncing. Yeah.
Because we didn't take that card you had.
Oh yeah, what was that?
I think that was a
Capital
It
One
was a
I had-
diner's card.
Uncle Rush card.
He's like, I take gift cards. No, but when I go to like some of my favorite like bars or lounges, I bring cash just so I can tip with the cash because I know for that particular reason they appreciate that way more than if you just put all the tips on the credit card receipt.
That makes sense.
Also, guys, this weekend I'm going to be in the best comedy clubs in the country. No disrespect to any other club, but Comedy Works, the best clubs in the country. I know we sold out 2 shows. We still got tickets left. There's some tickets left for the Sunday show. The other 2 are going quickly, so hurry up and buy those. May 9th and 10th, Virginia Beach. I'm letting y'all know I might have to reschedule. I will know for sure very soon, but I think I might be in India working on some things that you guys should keep an eye out for. June 19th through 21st, I'm going to be in Salt Lake City. Guys, those dates and a bunch more at akashsingh.com. Thank y'all so much for coming out to these shows. We did 9 in Tampa Bay. That was amazing. I love y'all. Peace.
What's up, people? World's fastest ad read: Bangor, Maine, Portland, Maine, Charleston, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, and Stroudsburg, PA. A bunch of other cities, all on my website, markgagnonlive.com. Come see me on the road, and we're gonna hang out after the show. We can say what's up. We're not really gonna hang out.
Say what's up with your mouth.
No, just take a picture and
But
come
not
to the show.
with
and
words, like more like a whoa.
we can talk about just only talking and have fun.
Hard to talk with Mark's dick in your mouth.
See you guys at the show.
Guys, this is incredibly important. Maybe the most important thing that I tell you in this episode. Our dear brother, okay? This is family, okay? This is not like casual work acquaintance. This is literal family. Derek Poston, you saw him open up on the Live Tour. You saw him open up on Infamous, absolutely hysterical. And he's putting out his first piece, his first comedy piece with the great Don't Tell Comedy brand. You've definitely seen Don't Tell Comedy specials all over the internet, all over TikTok, all over Instagram. This piece, How to End Racism, is absolutely hilarious and is on YouTube right now. Derek Poston, How to End Racism, Don't Tell Comedy. You go look it up right now, okay? You could finish the episode, you can come back to the episode, you do whatever you want, but you make sure you watch that, you leave some comments, you share with friends. We support family over here. Derek is Flagrant family. So get after it, go watch it. Let's run these fucking numbers up, create another superstar out there. He's absolutely hilarious. Leave a bunch of comments, share it. Show the love. Show that Flagrant family love right now to our boy Derek Poston. We're very proud of you, Derek.
Love you, Derek.
Now let's get back to the show.
I'm curious, back to the Michelin thing, like the politics of the Michelin. Like I have a friend that has a restaurant in Brooklyn, this place Bar Madonna, it's awesome. But he talks to me about like getting on like the list. Like you want to be on the best bars list. Like there's all this politics you have to play, not only having a great experience with your consumers, but playing the game of the restaurant. So as far as getting a Michelin star or playing in that world, how important is it to be in the good graces of the critics, being on blogs, things like that to promote the brand of the restaurant?
If you're going for that, if that's a goal of yours, then it's important. Michelin can't possibly be what they say they are or what they have been. So like Michelin in the past started in France, 50s and 60s. There would be a anonymous inspector that would come every year and check on your restaurant and grade it basically. For that to still happen today in the number of restaurants and numbers of cities that Michelin is in, is virtually impossible, right? There's no way they're checking on these restaurants. So it's my belief that it's simply an aggregate. They're just aggregating where they need to sell books and what the reviews of the rest of the world are of these places and figuring out who to give stars to. I think there's a handful of people that are actually going to some of these restaurants, like the top couple brass of Michelin are going to the important ones, but there's no way they're going to all of them. So it's really just some sort of aggregate system they're using to give out these stars. It's no longer like the movie Ratatouille kind of like projects this. Like that's a Michelin inspector basically, right? At least at the New York Times, which is for me the most important review in New York, right? The New York Times critic says, you know who it is. It's a single person's opinion, whether you like it or not. It's a real person. It's not some sort of computer generated aggregate. And take this for a grain of salt. We only have one Michelin star. They took a couple away from me a couple years ago. It is what it is. But I could easily be seen as someone who's just kind of grumpy about it. But I just think as a system, and it's not something that we necessarily covet, but as a system, I just don't think they're being honest with who they are as a criteria.
So you're saying there's other motives here at play. There's a financial motive.
They used to be a subsidy of this tire company, right? And the whole idea was that they created this map of restaurants so that you in your car on your Michelin tires would drive from restaurant to restaurant, and it was a fun way to promote it. It became really big, and then it spawned into its own business. So you have to look at it and say, this is its own business. It has to make its own dollars. So as a business, there's just no way, given what they do in revenue and book sales, that they could pay enough people to go to all these restaurants. So if that's the case, then how are they coming up with it?
Fugazi.
So then in that case,
It's a fugazi.
what's more important? Like if you're going to a city and you want to know what the good restaurants are.
Yeah, how do you know?
And you don't use a Michelin star. Is there another review system? Is there an app? Is there a website? Like, how else can I be informed about the best restaurant in the city?
I mean, social media is gonna tell you. I mean, if you punch in best restaurant, pick your city, you're gonna get 10 at least.
But it's a paid for.
Infatuation. Have you heard of that
Yeah,
one?
Infatuation. I mean, they don't speak kindly of me in Miami, but they do in New York. Two totally different groups of people in the same publication, but they're definitely going to pop up. You're going to get CNN Traveler. You're going to get all these things that are going to pop up. But the biggest thing that's changed in the restaurant business is that the power of these critics has been basically completely taken away and put in the customer's hands.
Yeah.
Everyone has it now.
Yeah.
Everyone's an editor-in-chief of their own thing, right? No matter how big their Facebook is or their Instagram page, they're going to tell you all about their meal. And if you follow them, you're going to go, they're the critic.
People always say a lot of times comics compare ourselves to boxers for some reason, and I don't know why. And whoever does that has never boxed at all. But I always say the closest comparison for comedians is chefs.
My chef friend says it's the closest comparison to comedians.
In terms of like speaking to them, it's a couple different things. One, like kind of natural people pleasers. Like we're doing this thing, we're creating this thing for other people to consume, and hopefully they like it, and we're kind of waiting for them to tell us that they like it. The hours also, and just like degenerates. Just like really kind of bad people at our core.
Dredge of society.
Dredge of society that somehow managed to make money doing this like weird thing.
It's a circus.
It is a circus, 100%. You're in these restaurants and you're managing the staff. They're all fucking each other. How do you stop that?
I don't know anything about that.
I worked in restaurants for years.
Listen, I think
what do you do? How do you
the team going out after work and having drinks and letting some steam off of a long night is totally normal, and we're not going to get in the way of that. I think certainly we have rules that like management and hourly staff can't commingle, right? Like that's just rule number one. And as soon as that happens, like there's a zero tolerance there. But the staff, I mean, they become family. I mean, I have the same team in Carbone, the original Carbone, since basically day one. No one's left. It's all the same team.
Wow.
Starting with Ricky.
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
How do you know Ricky?
Ricky was a day one guy who answered an ad for captains. The head waiters are captains for a captain position, and loved him immediately. And he grew into being the face. I call him the face because everyone knows him. Wow. Everyone knows him as Ricky of Carbone.
That's
Really?
good. Before we get too far away, two things. Do you think a Michelin star can be bought?
I think you gotta play the game a little bit. If that's something you're going after, if that's a really important metric for your restaurant and for success and for getting people in there, then you have to play a game to a certain degree. And that buying it could manifest itself in the things you buy for the restaurant, all of the extra money you spend towards the things that you think you need to get that star. I don't think you can pay Michelin for a star. No.
Gotcha.
Cities pay Michelin, which is commonplace. Cities pay it to bring them to that city to create a Michelin.
Oh, wow.
Whatever,
Which
Miami.
makes sense.
But that's just like the
Michelin Guide?
Yeah, the Michelin Guide.
So the Michelin Guide is paid for.
It's paid for by the cities to bring them there.
Which makes sense if you're a tourist in Miami.
Yeah, like
Michelin Guide.
No, it makes perfect sense. I thought Michelin Guide was the achievement right before Michelin Star. Because sometimes the way people speak about it, they're like, oh, it's not Michelin Star, but it's Guide.
You can be included in the book without having a star, where they're like sort of recommend you, especially if you're at a lower price point. If you're at a really low price point, usually you're not even up for a star. This is really just kind of the world of fine dining, more or less.
And then the second question, because you said now the power's in the customer's hand.
Yeah.
But I feel like restaurants are just paying influencers, hey, here's some money, come here, eat for free, do a review on us. So it's like, I don't trust a lot of the TikTok because they'll do it on the same restaurants over and over. And I'm like, so I'm a little suspect about this.
That's a great point.
That is marketing these days. I mean, it's not that much different than paying some agency to tell you how great this restaurant is.
Bro, it's more effective.
Yeah. So then how do we find
guess he
the
just said he
real
didn't
good
trust it.
restaurant?
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, but like when Kendall Jenner wears a bag, all of a sudden all these girls want to wear the bag. When they eat at this restaurant, all of a sudden all these girls want to go check it out. So to Alex's point, if some of them are being paid to go to restaurants, how can we trust them as an influencer?
Yeah.
Because the whole game is to assume that they really truly are inspired by this restaurant and they love the cuisine.
I mean, they're selling. If you're a big influencer, you're selling all sorts of products, right? I mean, like
Oh, they're getting,
huge amounts of money.
and they're getting money to even go to restaurants.
I mean, we don't pay anyone to go to restaurants, but I'm sure that that's a business, right? That's got to be a line item in advertising somewhere. That in this local town, so and so is a huge influencer.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to move the needle. They're definitely going to move the needle.
I thought you guys were making great headlines the opposite way. So instead of who comes to the restaurant, it was who gets kicked out of or gets rejected. Every time a famous person would get rejected at Carbone, it was like
That didn't
page
happen that
6.
often.
Dude. But you heard about it.
It happened every now and again, and sometimes it was a mistake.
Well, who was it? But it was like Justin Bieber tries
That was
to
a
get
mistake, Justin.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
Milk
it was
that mistake.
unintentional.
Milk that mistake.
It was unintentional.
But is it
I would not have kicked Justin out.
a serendipitous mistake or whatever the word is? Like you're like, oh, this is a mistake, but
No,
it
because I
only
didn't
makes
want to
us-
deal with that press. It didn't look good. It wasn't like, it didn't, to me, it didn't look good. Like, that's not hospitable. Like, we tried to take care of it. It was just like a last minute thing. That scenario was just like a super last minute trying to make a reservation, and they were already showing up, and we just didn't have the table at that moment.
But to Andrew's point, there's a human psychology. When you read this person couldn't get into this restaurant,
looks
it must
fire.
be insane. So could you see a world? I'm not saying you did it. Could you see a world where somebody might reject that person and then leak it to the press?
I think it's too risky.
Okay.
I can't see somebody trying that.
What's the scummiest thing you've seen a restaurant do for PR?
Scummiest thing to do for PR. There's only so many things that you can really do. I mean, I'm trying to think of like creative, scummy things. You know, planting paparazzi.
So making the calls of the PR agency.
Someone's there,
Yeah.
and you call like a Page 6 type guy, and all of a sudden they get blown up.
I've heard some clothing, like wardrobe people will do that, where they'll like go to some company. Hey, you have this designer clothes? Pay me. I'll make sure he wears it. And then when he wears it, I'll call the paparazzi and say, hey, Justin Bieber's at this restaurant.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
Yeah.
And how do you make sure your staff doesn't do that and then get hit?
Well, I mean, our staff, that's something we talk about more than probably most, is sort of anonymity. Like, one, of course, we say nothing, but also like we're the protective layer of a celebrity or an athlete or someone that's in the restaurant, because you don't know who might be like secretly filming them, or who might just come up and try to get like an autograph or a selfie. Like, so my team is that last line of defense to make sure that they have a really private moment.
Do they have a special seating area, a special entrance, all of that?
It depends on the restaurant. Some places just have like, there's nowhere else to go. It depends on how much notice we have, but like most places there's like,
Wow. Okay, take me through early days.
Yeah.
Was there a point in Carbone where you were like, we're not going to make it, we're going to close?
well, early days was just a couple hundred feet away from here. It was original Torrisi.
This is on Mulberry, right?
Yeah, that's the very first restaurant, Mulberry and Prince.
I'm sorry, if we're going to go early days, let's go really far back.
Okay.
You go work at Balud, right?
I worked at Balud before. My first like real New York chef was
Babo, right?
Vitali,
yeah. So you start with Patali,
Yeah.
then you go to Italy, if I'm not mistaken. You come back and you work for Daniel Balud. And you're working at Daniel?
I went to Danielle to try to get a job. Well, the story of Danielle was I really wanted to work there. My dad was turning 50 years old, and I said, Pops, I saved up some money. I'm going to take you to a nice restaurant tonight. And me and my dad went to Danielle. I know that Danielle kind of works the dining room. He walks around the whole dining room, and I really wanted to meet him. I wanted to get a restaurant. So I had my resume in my jacket pocket. And he comes over, he introduces himself, he talks to us for a second, and he asked me what I did. I said, listen, I'm a cook in New York, but I'd love to work here. And I gave my resume right on the dining room floor. And he told me, listen, I don't know if we have anything, but here, call my assistant tomorrow. And I called this assistant like every day for like a month, until finally she was like, just show up on Saturday. Saturday I show up, no one knows I'm supposed to be there. No one has any idea I'm there.
Yeah.
I get there, they're like, who are you? They give me like, they just throw a uniform at me and they're just like, go find something to do. So I find one cook, I do one thing all day. I dice leeks. I did that really bad for a while and they kept yelling at me and I finally did it okay. I dice leeks all day. No one says anything to me. The day ends and everyone's going home and I'm like, all right. So I throw my uniform in the bin and I'm like, I guess no one's going to talk to me today. The next day I show up, I find the guy, I get the leeks again and I do it again. No one really talks to me. This goes on for like 3 or 4 days. And then the executive chef at the time, a terrifying man named Alex Lee, one night during dinner service kind of looks over and he's like, and he like points at me and I'm like, me? He's like, yeah. He goes, come here. I walk up to the pass and he's like, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, my name's Mario Carbone. I've been here for 5 days. No one's talked to me. I've been cutting leeks for 4 days. I just need a job. And he's like, there's no work here for you. There's no jobs here. I'm totally full. He's like, go to one of the other restaurants in the company tomorrow and see if there's a job there. So I spent a week at Danielle without really anyone talking to me. I wound up getting a job at one of the other restaurants and I worked there for
Which one?
Cafe Balud.
Balloon. Okay.
So it was at that time. It was I was like 22. Me, David Chang, who owns Momofuku.
That's what I was about to say. This is a really, and then also Torrisi,
My
right?
partner Rich. We were like in a row like this.
So think about this. Within Balloon, it's called Cafe Balloon.
Cafe Balud,
Where
yeah.
was it?
76th and Madison.
Okay, so within Cafe Balloon, 3 of like the foremost restaurateurs in New York City would sprout.
Yeah, 22, 23 years old each.
Wow.
21,
So
22,
you know
23.
Momofuku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fire.
And wow, this is just like so crazy. So I'm doing a little research on you and like you thought that you would open something with David.
Originally, we were going to do something together with Dave.
With Rich as well?
No,
or-
just me and him. But Rich was my roommate, so we would like after work we would spend like before we'd crash, we'd spend time like talking about ideas, talking about like how we were gonna get started, what his place was gonna be like, what my place was gonna be like, and then in 2008 there was a financial crisis and like all money dries up, all investors dry up, everyone's done, but we were ready. It was like this is our time. So instead of trying these separate ideas individually, we were like, the only way, if we want to be our own boss, like next year, the only way we're going to do this is if we do it together.
Wow.
And we pooled our resources, our money, and we took a space a couple hundred feet away that was like 450 square foot jean shop. And it was on Mulberry and Prince, but we thought that was it. We thought that was the energy, that was the spot,
And
that's
that
where we
was
needed to be.
Torrisi,
2000, yeah.
What was it called?
Torrisi Italian Specialties.
Yeah, Torrisi Italian Specialties. So he got his name first.
Yeah.
Egomaniac, this guy. Right? It's unbelievable.
Foosball, 2 out of 3.
Really? That's awesome.
Okay, so
That's the most diplomatic way to do it.
wait, really?
How else would you do it?
Rock, paper, scissors, but that's too much to chance.
Not 2 Italian kids. You play football.
All right, fair enough. So Rich gets his name. Is it successful?
At first it was mixed. We opened it as a sandwich shop. That did well, but our goal was to open it at night and do like kind of a serious dinner. It was one set menu on a chalkboard, and when we started opening at night, no one really came. And if they did come, they were like, "Oh, I heard you sell sandwiches." And we're like, "Yeah, but in the daytime." And they're like, "Yeah, but there's nobody here making a sandwich." We're like, "No, that's not the thing. That's not what we're doing. We're doing this menu thing." That took a while.
They got a point with that. Bro. You want the money or not?
I see what you're saying, but I'm going to die on my morals here. It took a while for people to figure out what was going on there.
And what do you think it was?
Eventually, we got a great review from New York Magazine, and that started a bit of a line outside. People waiting for reservations. The shit that we had never seen before, almost overnight.
Were you just waiting on the reservation? Were you calling them, trying to get them down? Because I think this could change fortunes. Anybody reviewing us, how do you get them to review you?
You don't, right? You don't. And at first, when they came the first time, they were alone in the dining room. We knew them, and so we cooked for them. We talked to them. We were friendly. They left. They came back next week, and I was like, "Rich, man, they must really like it. They're here again." And he's like, "Yeah, cool. Whatever." Third time they come, and I'm like, "Oh."
They're making sure.
Oh,
I
they're
see.
writing a review on this restaurant.
So do you spice it up on that last one?
I mean, we gave it all we had, but it wasn't. I mean, we threw everything we had at it, but it wasn't much at the time. And we only had this one little menu.
Yeah, no sandwiches.
We had no sandwiches, just enough money to kind of make a chalkboard out of the dinner.
Were you both in the kitchen at that time?
Yeah, it's only 5 employees total. You know, there's like me, him, a dishwasher, one waitress. I mean, that's everybody, right?
Wow.
So we were open 6 days a week. On the 7th day, we were closed. We would
Doing prep and everything.
He and I would go in, lock the door. We'd go in. We'd crank the radio, and we would prep all day just to get ready. So we were working 7 days, but we were the only employees. But we were living the dream.
There's an interesting thing with restaurants specifically about the review. And this has changed in almost every other form of media. The review is really important with TV shows, or not even TV shows, but like movies, anything that comedy that you had to leave the house for, right? Because you got to get a babysitter, you got to get dressed, you got to get an Uber. There's like a lot of things you have to do, right? Once everything went streaming, the review doesn't really matter. I'll turn it on.
Are you sweating the reviews when the special comes out?
No, because all you got to do is turn it on. And people make their own reviews.
That's what I'm saying about social media as well.
But what specifically for restaurants is you're not ordering a delivery. I gotta go. Yeah. So if I'm gonna commit that, I have one date night a week with my wife. I'm gonna commit Tuesday night to someplace. My wife has already vetted 10 different websites and made sure it's a thing that she really wants to do because that's our one night out a week, right? So the review does still hold, whether the review is from an influencer, some social media, from Yelp. The review does still hold a lot of weight within the restaurant community. We still need that like word of mouth. We still need someone to validate the experience before we go. Whereas just like turning on a special is, I don't need you to tell me if it's good or not. I give it 10 minutes. It sucks. I'm done. Oh, I really like it. I'll keep watching it. So it's interesting to see that one single review flipped.
I mean, I used to hear that back in like the 70s and 80s, if you got a great New York Times review, that the owners would literally tear it out of the newspaper, walk into the bank, and get a loan.
Wow.
And be like, here.
Wow.
That's all you need.
That the old New York Times critics used to tell me that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So were they drunk off that power?
I mean, that was the top. I mean, there was no Michelin in America back then. Rick, I need something a little stronger.
Yes, chef.
What a little
Like a little dirty martini.
Dirty martini.
Wait a minute.
Gin or vodka?
Vodka.
Right away.
I'll do that as well.
2.
This guy just brought you a spritz, you dick.
Well, I'm gonna have that
Well, you
too.
can leave empty glasses make me nervous. That's why I brought it. Automatically bring it. You know what I mean? 2 vodka martini right away.
Hey, in all of your experience, who's the worst tipper?
Oh, this is
that's
a good
famous?
question.
Everyone tips wonderfully.
You're not gonna get him. You're not gonna get him.
Come on.
You're not gonna get him.
Who's the biggest scumbag that walked in there?
Everyone that walks in the door, we thank them very,
Let me
very
ask
much.
you a question.
Everyone's great.
When you were letting Epstein dine at your section specifically, what was that like? Was he a big tipper?
I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing. No, I wasn't there that night. I was off
Mr.
that.
Face. If I may ask you to settle a debate between Alex and me, your life depends on your answer here. Alex and I walk into a restaurant. Who do you think is going to tip better? You don't know anything
man.
about us. You're just looking at us.
You know what? We just deliver the best service. As long as you're happy at the end of the day, that's all that matters. We don't think about things
You're
like
not
that.
gonna get him.
Not at all.
He's looking at you a lot.
You don't go, oh, we got to come.
I'm just saying. He is. I'm just saying.
Wait, so 3 martinis?
Yeah, three martinis.
Make
But
a four.
what
Make
do
a
you
four.
call?
Fuck it.
Do you call them Canadians when they walk in?
3 martinis on the way.
Nah,
How
make
you
it 4.
doing?
Make it 4.
4, you got it.
See how demanding they are?
Italians count. They can't even help the Italian, bro. He said 3 like this. I love it.
Okay, so all right, so the review changes everything, but it's still a small restaurant. Like you're not getting.
Can you answer that question?
Wait,
About the
Who
tip?
tips the
Oh
worst?
yeah, who does tip the worst? Indians or black people?
That's not fair. That's not fair.
he does have an
That's
answer.
Chinese.
No, but they Chinese tip, right?
Or
'Cause
diner
it's
boy in New York City.
I'm a
shit.
diner
Like,
boy.
you know,
I'm a
like,
diner
who
boy.
tips the word?
I was taught. I didn't want to tell you now. My dad told me. My dad told me you didn't need a tip when you sat at the bar.
See, and I overcompensate. I overtip because of the.
Because
That's a great scene in My Blue Heaven.
Yeah.
Where Steve Martin goes over tipping. Fantastic movie.
But wait a
There you
minute.
go.
Yeah, is there a version where over tipping makes you look a little funny?
No.
Never at all.
No.
But do you think if you saw him overtip or him overtip, they would be overcompensating for a cultural stereotype? If I overtip, I'm generous. If they overtip, they're trying to make up for what their people have done to the restaurant industry for decades.
Simply taking care of the staff.
I actually think that's yeah. I'm not even.
That's a I don't got any pushback on
This guy's
that.
been around Ricky for a while.
Also, 20% is fine, right?
Yeah, I know. 20% is generous.
15%?
Oh, this is.
I mean,
Wait,
are you
20% generous, 15 I can't do.
Were you unhappy with your service?
Oh my God! No, I thought it was great.
I mean,
thought it was
yes,
great.
yeah.
So yeah, what should you tip?
20%.
20%.
Yeah.
20% is good. You're good at 20.
20 is right.
25
starting.
Yeah, I would only go under 20 if I was unhappy with myself.
Okay, that's fair. That's typically what I do.
Yeah.
But if you
All the
are
way
unhappy,
He's always unhappy.
yeah, he's always unhappy.
guy is never happy.
No, I
You might
started.
want to start staying home.
No, I started tipping better when I started making money. When I didn't have money, I would look for any excuse that you gave me bad service so I could go 15. Hey, yeah, I didn't like his attitude and I didn't like his vibe.
15
Now
is so hard to calculate. What are you doing? You getting your phone
I'm
out?
Indian.
You know
It's
what
right
it
there.
is? You know what it is? My dad taught me is double the tax. Back in the day, doubling the
No,
tax.
at 16, you got to go a little lower than that.
He doubles and it takes a little while.
I'm 41. Back in the day, doubling the tax was a fine tip.
Yeah.
20% is like a newer thing.
It's a
When
newer
we were
thing.
younger, 15 used
That's
to
inflation.
be.
15
Yeah.
used to be, yeah.
That used to be the
But
good
now
spot.
you're tipping for all sorts of things that don't warrant any sort of tips. Like, what are we talking about here?
Like what?
I mean, if you're going to the coffee shop, you're getting a cup of coffee, all of a sudden the screen spins around.
He
If
makes
you-
me tip. I didn't used to
you're-
tip.
you're
I got a water at
15, 20, or 25.
I got a water at a cafe today, just a water. I brought the water. She made
Spin
me
that screen around.
She made me beep
Son,
it,
son,
and then spin the
self-checkout.
thing around, and then the thing said 20%, and I'm like, "Why? What did you do in this whole process?"
Like the screen's going to prompt you to a couple of questions.
Buddy, self-checkout at the airport. They ask if you want to leave a tip. No one is here.
I'm still
Take
confused by
money off my
self-checkout
bill.
at the airport because people are working those. They're
Just making sure you don't
they
steal.
understand that you're going to have trouble with this,
Yeah.
and there's people that are helping you check out,
Yeah.
which is no longer the whole purpose of
It
this
bothers me
experience.
so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
If they don't help me check out and I have issues, I just walk out with the water. And I know I'm brown, and I do it
You
anyway.
justify stealing.
Yeah,
Steal?
yeah. I do it anyway.
It's a $20 water. I get it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
$9.
we gotta get these
No one's
migrants out
helping.
the country.
for real, for real. It's a good point.
And leave the water on the way out.
Can
will
I
you?
ask you? This is a restaurant deep cut.
What are you?
I've been
What
to-
are you gonna do when they ship out the migrants?
No, for real, no. But no. This is. I've noticed some restaurants. Okay, it's almost if they made a decision to not have Latino busboys, and they go Indian
Bangladeshi, I think.
or Bangladeshi. I'm gonna say it, and then we'll bleep it out so that you're safe, but not your restaurant. There are no Latinos that work there.
Uh-huh.
It's Bangladeshi, you think it is?
Bangladeshi is
But
what
they're
I hear.
looking. Is that like a strategic move?
So the strategy that's implemented there is if you have like one main guy who's like the head porter, right? He's doing the hiring. There's constantly infighting amongst communities. If you start blending communities, there's going to be all sorts of stupid drama that's going to happen because they're fighting with each other, and it's best to sort of hire one community
Race.
of people.
That's
Yeah.
fascinating.
America tried to do that way a long time ago.
No, that's
And
different.
it completely
Yeah, what you're talking about is different. That's,
No, what was I
That's
talking about?
slavery.
Oh,
yeah, you can't
it
do
wasn't
that.
hiring.
You can't.
It
They
wasn't
weren't
hiring.
paid.
What about Nat Turner? It was right there. What about Nat Turner?
That was the problem. If we got a bunch of different ones, there'd be no infighting. You know what I mean?
That is so it's delegation of responsibility. I never thought about it like that. If your head guy is from this community,
Then
he's
they're
going to
gonna
hire.
hire all his people, and it's just a happier house, right? Everyone gets along. It's all one community. The staff meal's all the same, right? You don't have to deal with like Mexicans making pork for the Muslims and they're fighting about it.
Yeah.
Like it's just a happier house.
Is that how it works with like nursing too? Like when you see like some areas are specifically Filipino, some areas specifically Caribbean. Like I know that happens with nannying. Like if you tap into like the Caribbean nanny community, they're going to recommend the other people that are often like part of their church.
Makes sense.
I would assume it's word of
100%.
mouth though for that. That's what I always assumed it was. Like you'd just be like, yeah, well, I have someone that can fill in. I know someone that can
for sure
pop in.
But it's all good. They're going to stay within their own.
Yeah, of course.
Squad.
People they know.
Yeah.
Why does it seem like in New York, the best chefs of Italian, the best chefs of Thai, and every other cuisine are all Mexican?
It's teeny tiny.
Every kitchen I go to, it looks like it's
what's
all
this lemon
Hispanics
over
back
here?
in the back.
Twist.
Oh, you gave me a little twist.
Little twist.
Hey, cute pie.
Nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Twist.
He's calling you a
I
fanook.
think he called me a fanook. Oh yeah. So wait, you were saying?
No, just why are all the chefs?
What he's trying to say is why are Mexicans the best?
Incredible chefs. I mean, Mexican cuisine is arguably the most complex food there is. Period.
Talk that shit.
Period.
I went to
Starting
it.
with like the Aztecs into the Spanish,
I
into
believe
the
you.
regional
Pardon me,
Mexican
sir.
cuisine.
Oh, thank you.
It's an incredibly difficult.
So if they can
Frankie,
cook
you're
mole,
Mexican. You're very
they can cook whatever else the fuck you want.
So then why?
and they would work hard. No one asked them about them pyramids.
Yeah, he knows. He knows.
No one questioned them.
He knows.
So with all like the immigration that's going on now, is that affecting the restaurant business at all?
I mean, I'm sure it is. It doesn't affect ours.
Okay.
I mean, we just don't allow like illegal immigrants to work in the restaurants, right? I mean, you have to have proper paperwork. You know, I mean, we don't fuck with that. Like, it's not worth bringing the house down.
Why are you laughing?
It's not.
Yeah.
You have to. I've got 5,000 employees.
So then how do you get? How do other restaurants get around that? Because I see it looks like
you go to Roosevelt Avenue and you get paperwork made.
Oh, so you can get fake paperwork.
I didn't hear that.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break real quick because Morgan & Morgan is looking out for the little guy as always. I don't know if you know this, but insurance companies make a big profit by holding on to your money for as long as possible. It's what these big guys do. The longer they can keep it, they can make interest on it. All these little micro interest payments or whatever the fuck. It's above my intelligence level, but I know they make a lot of money doing it. And after an accident, for that reason, they will do whatever they can to not just deny, but also delay paying your claim so their profits can keep growing. But Morgan & Morgan fights hard for their clients and make sure you get every dollar you deserve. So if you're in court for an accident that's someone else's fault, what the insurance company will do is try to make the jurors think that the guy who made the mistake is the one paying. It's actually the insurance company, but here's how fucking savvy they are. They know a jury is less likely to award, or a judge is less likely to award a huge settlement to an individual guy who probably can't pay the money back instead of the insurance company. Basically, they think of every way to nickel and dime and fuck all of us out of our money. And that's why Morgan & Morgan's taking on these cases. When Morgan & Morgan takes on a case, they are going to go after the big insurance companies, not the individuals at fault. They fight hard for their companies. A guy in Pennsylvania just won $29 million. The insurer's best option was $500,000. $500,000 to $29 million. That's $28.5 million they just did. So there's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. It's because hiring the wrong law firm can be disastrous, and hiring the right law firm could substantially increase your settlement. With Morgan & Morgan, it's easy to get started, and their fee is free unless you win. I'm always going to say how important that is. That guy who got the extra $28.5 million, he is going to pay out Morgan & Morgan. But you know what he would have got without Morgan & Morgan? $500,000. So the fee is free unless they win. If you want more information, visit forthepeople.com/flagrant or dial pound law. That's pound 529. Again, that is thepeople.com/flagrant or dial pound law. That's pound 529. This is a paid advertisement.
All right, guys, let's take a break for a second. You see the lighting. You already know what time it is. Hard dick season, okay? There are 4 very important seasons in the year if you live in a real place. And all those seasons require hard dick for the women and men that you love, okay? And there's one way to guarantee that. It's with Blue Chew. Same active ingredients inside Cialis or Viagra, but this is the Chew. This is the one we rock with. You're not going to rock with that old antiquated desktop that has 14 different that's what those other brands are. This is the Chew, okay? This is sleek. This is sexy. This is chewed up and then all over that girl's back within... I mean, honestly, I don't even know how fast you want to do. You want to do some jumping jacks after you take it? Maybe it's in your bloodstream within minutes. I don't know how your body metabolizes things. The point I'm trying to make is if you want to make sure that that girl has the best night of her life and she deserves it, and you want to get your first month free, all you got to do is pay $5 shipping when you go to bluechew.com and use the promo code FLAGRANT. That's really it. That's all I have to tell you. You have all the information you need, okay? If you want to make that girl's life, you do that. If you want to disappoint her, then you don't. It's really up to you. Now let's get back to the show.
So how do we go from the restaurant being a sandwich shop in the daytime, getting a little bit of traction with New York Mag, to then becoming a staple in the neighborhood?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, because it's not even that restaurant that becomes Carbone.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Tariffs,
Yeah.
how
So,
much
yeah,
So
longer
what's
did
you
that
and
go?
Torrisi are there, these 2 Italian guys that understand art, you understand food, right? At what point do you're like, we need a Jew to pay for shit?
Well, we were pretty frugal early on, but we knew
Why would you bring that up?
we knew we needed help. We were just two chefs who were trying to figure out the
How many
rest of it.
tables is that first restaurant? Sorry, I'm gonna take
Six,
it.
like
Okay,
six
wow.
tiny little tables.
Oh, wow.
And when we got somebody that was like noteworthy coming in, it was heavy because the room's this big, you know. Like Stat would bring Hove in, and he'd sit in the corner, and you're like, oh shit,
Wow. Wow.
this is nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So early days were kind of crazy when we were getting momentum because that was the room, that was everything. But when we met Jeff was one of the kind of early customers. We knew him. He was like we had like similar friends in the same business. And he came in and he quickly kind of identified like that we had a chance of like being something much bigger than we are right now. And he thought he could bring the rest of it to the table, which we would have learned. Like I believe we would have learned, but it would have taken a while.
It expedites the process.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you both are together and you decide to open up another restaurant. Because he won the first game, you get to get your name. The location is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like absolutely phenomenal. Pure luck, coincidence, incredibly expensive. Like for everybody who doesn't know, it's in it's Greenwich Village, like a few blocks from the cellar.
Heart of
It's
Greenwich
like,
Village, Thompson between Bleecker and Houston.
You're blocks away from Soho,
Yeah.
you're blocks away from the Eastville. It's
It
phenomenal.
was an Italian restaurant.
Rocco's, right?
Yeah, Rocco from the 20s.
Yeah.
I think it was a Genovese family kind of like stalwart restaurant.
Oh, wow.
There were a couple of questionable doors in there that were for them, back courtyards and shit. And it finally kind of fell in disrepair, and we found out about it through the guy who owns the space knew Jeff somehow, and we wind up getting it. It was at the time crazy expensive. Now it's a great deal, but at the time it was crazy expensive.
What
for
was
us.
the rent?
It was like $18,000
$18,000
a month in 2012, 2013.
Keep in mind, this is a first floor retail space with like 3 windows facing the street.
Yeah, max.
So the majority of it is behind.
Cavernous.
Yeah. I mean, 18 grand is an absolutely absurd, no offense here, but like, what are we talking about square footage? This is like,
I mean, we were paying top dollar back then.
it's
How
a
many square
very-
feet is the space?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's 85 seats. 85
It's smaller than this whole studio that we have here.
Yeah.
And okay, so you guys started, there's big overhead, but you have somebody that's willing to invest in you guys. At what point is it immediate success? Is there a review? Is there people of fame that are
When
coming
we
in?
first opened, there was a big push of who do you think you are sentiment from sort of the community at large, because we had gone from these kind of lovable guys charging a small amount of money in New York to tuxedos, expensive dishes, table side. There was a sentiment of like, don't you know Emilino's down the block? What are you doing? What are you trying to do here? There was that, especially from the older generation. So we had to kind of push through that.
So you had immediate almost rejection.
We had a bit of rejection from the food community, not necessarily the patrons, but the journalists, certainly the ones that had been around a while and seen a lot of shit.
And you were their darlings.
Because we were acting older.
Yeah.
We had guys like him in tuxedos. We would put fake ads in newspapers and like Craigslist to hire old school waiters because I didn't want kids. I wanted old, so we created a fake steakhouse for them to respond to because those are the style of restaurants that they want to take jobs in.
Yeah.
And so I got old school guys to come in and respond to those ads, and then I told them what we were doing. And put them in tuxedos, play the old music, do the old vibe, because everything in 2013, everything was this big.
Yeah.
All the food was this big. The trend was 20-course tasting menus, and we were going completely against that grain.
Yeah.
And to do that in our 30 years old didn't make any sense to anyone for a minute.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit of time. And then we got to the New York Times review. We got an incredible New York Times review. And
Before that, it was the price point that they were frustrated by?
it was it was that we made such a big leap that it caught people off guard.
You didn't
They're
pay
like,
your
who
dues?
are you guys to charge this much
The
money?
same person that was applauding me
Yes.
a couple months ago down the block in that little place was like, wait a minute, what'd you just do?
Was that hard for you to deal with, or do you just not
I didn't
care?
understand it.
Bro, this is human nature. It's like when you're on the way up, you remind everybody of what their dreams are.
Yep.
And then when you believe maybe you get to the top, you remind them of what they might never achieve. And it's very hard for humans to support you in that endeavor. And Yeah, you see this happen in like every single industry. You see this happen with athletes. You see it's like, this guy's the next Jordan. And then he starts playing really well and he ain't Jordan. Yeah. I thought you said he's the next Jordan.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so you guys are living your dream and all of a sudden you get turned on by the community that had really kind of, I don't want to say inflated your egos, but really like pumped
Well,
up.
they helped get
uplifted,
us
yeah.
the confidence to try this.
So was it heartbreaking? Because you must believe their reviews of your other restaurant because you're like, wow, finally someone recognizes our talent. Then you see the criticism and you're like, well, shit, do I have to believe that as well? Those are the same people I believed when they were complimenting me.
It's very sensitive reviews, right? I mean, you put yourself out there, you make this thing. So whenever a review doesn't go your way, it's impossible to not take it personally.
No, that shit hurts.
It's impossible.
100%.
So to know that we were putting ourselves out there in that way and to have that be the initial response, again, we were getting traction on the ground. People were enjoying themselves. The vibe in the restaurant was good. I was just worried a little bit at like the community at large. And it took a kind of a flag being planted by the New York Times to say, no, this is accredited. This belongs.
So
in
New York
that
Times comes
conversation.
in and thwarts all the other criticism.
They basically wait to be the last one. So, and a big review like that, the New York Times will take that position and they'll wait for New York Magazine and the Post and all the other publications to weigh in, and then they'll go last.
And then initially, are those other guys saying, who the fuck are they?
Those were a mixed bag.
Okay.
They were all over the place.
Do
If
you remember those people? Have you like hung out with them since, seen them since? Have they tried to cozy up to you now that you're successful?
Well, I famously threw one out, and that was a
love
thing.
that.
What happened?
Because no one's ever really thrown a critic out.
Wait, what happened?
I wasn't, again, young and a little spicy at the time, but the critic at the time for New York Magazine had come in and he wrote a really poor review, and I just didn't like the way he went about it. And I was also young and sensitive, and I didn't like the review. I didn't like the way he went about it.
What do you mean you didn't like the way he went about it?
I remember he brought in like other chefs to sit with him, and I didn't think that was cool.
Yeah, it seems
to
like
review it.
Yeah.
And I thought he had an agenda. I thought he didn't like it from before he even sat down.
So he was trying to
never gave us a
justify it.
chance. So he wrote this pretty terrible review, and then we had a little bar down the block, and he tried to go to that bar a couple weeks later, and he's supposed to be anonymous, but I know who he is, and he shows up, and we threw him out. And that became a whole thing because like no one's ever done that. And in hindsight, probably I wouldn't have done it again, but that's how I felt at the time.
I wonder if the people that review or react to things, I wonder if they understand like the lack of respect for their we're appreciative when their opinions are complimentary, but like the lack of respect comes from the fact that like a lot of them have never put something out in the world to be criticized.
Yeah, man in the arena.
It's a Teddy Roosevelt
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. And it's like, it is a different thing when you create something and you put work into it and then you place it out in the world to be criticized or, loved, doesn't matter. There is a vulnerability to that. So like even the people I don't even like and I don't even like their stuff, I still admire that they have the courage to put it out. And I wonder if critics, if they did that initially in their own life, if they had submitted something for public hazing or public scrutiny or support, if they would have a different energy towards their criticisms.
We should get one of them on here.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean that. Like,
Yeah, no.
I wonder if they ever think about that.
I appreciate the ones that do real homework, that come with real, like either they've been in the business a really long time, but you can tell that the way they go about it, the way that they research it, whether they like it or not, it comes from a real place of understanding. And at that point, you can only say so much.
But the ones that have their opinions made up beforehand, dude.
Have you ever gotten a negative review that you respected?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Like what?
And what does that look like?
There's a couple of critics. There's one named Ryan Sutton who is a really, really bright journalist who knows his shit inside and out. And sometimes he's written really beautiful reviews for us, and sometimes he hasn't. And if I look back at the ones that he was more critical of, they are some of the things that they're some of the projects that I think needed more work than others. I think he was probably right about them.
Respect.
Yeah.
That simple. I had a guy criticize a joke or he criticized writing as lazy, and then he referenced a joke that he didn't get. So in his criticism, he missed the cleverness of the joke, but he had such confidence to criticize me that he showcased the joke as evidence for like laziness while the joke went over his head. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do in that. You know what I mean?
What do you do with that? I mean, like, how do you compartmentalize that?
I'm at this point, I'm just like,
whatever.
I have to give more. I have to give more energy to the people that really praise and really appreciate and like are more aligned with like what I think the creative vision is.
Comics are dope because just like chefs, they get instant gratification. You tell the joke and you know if
You
it
know
hit.
right away.
Like I deliver the plate and it's gone. Like,
Yeah.
Did you like it or not? You ate it or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
Like it's instant gratification.
Yeah.
Which is just beautiful, right? And like it disappears. You make something. It's a disappearing art. It goes on a plate and it's consumed and it's gone. You know?
Yeah.
I'm curious when you create Carbone and you go for like these, old school, servers, captains, faces, all these guys. Where does that vision come from? Are you trying to replicate something that, you went to as a kid? Or were you just trying to deviate from the trend that was happening presently? Like, where did that conviction happen?
Carbone was a very intentional sort of celebration. It's an Italian-American restaurant, right? So it immediately doesn't exist in the country of Italy. It's born and raised in America, like I am. So if you start to look at it, and you're telling a story, and for me, restaurants are most closely similar to theater. You build a stage, you're telling a story, you're in costume, you're trying to make this believable play that starts at the exact same time every day, with the same cast in same uniform for a different audience. It's theater, and you're trying to create something that's transportive. I want to take you somewhere. And in Carbone's perspective, it's first generation Italian Americans. So I say it's Michael, it's not Vito, right? It's Michael. He struggles with Italian, right? In the movie, right? He can speak it a little bit, but it's not his native tongue. He's born in New York, right? This is a thing that's born in New York. It's really not recognized. It's not understood by Italians. It's our thing. So when did that take place? If you think about the Godfather movie, the first reference is Louis' Italian-American restaurant where he kills Sollozzo. That's the 40s and 50s. So that's where I wanted to set the restaurant to that period. So then I start thinking about, okay, if it's 1950 New York, what's the music? What's the uniform? What's the menu look like?
What a server look like.
What's the server look like? What is this? Because I want you, the customer, to walk into it
And teleport to a
and
different
be
place.
in my play.
I always appreciate thoughtfulness. Whatever, if I know you were being very thoughtful in what you did, I just really appreciate that. And I love that. And my question kind of piggybacking on what Marcus said, you had a vision, Rich had a vision. Y'all were going to do separate things, but then you came together.
Yeah.
What elements did you take from each of yourselves to create Carbone, Torrisi, whatever it was?
He's crazy talented. He's a better chef than I am, right? We're both chefs, but he's
Better foosball player.
fucking foosball player. Super talented, militant about how he goes about things. I'm much more. I live in the margins, right? I tell these sort of stories. They don't necessarily. There's a perfection to the imperfection for me. While he's more like a Swiss watch.
Yeah.
He's been trained by the best chefs in the world. He's an incredible. So I've taken a little bit from him, and I think he's taken a little bit from me of how we go about making something, and that's proven really, really, really special for us. And how the end result gets there, because I think without either one of us, it's a really different product. But we approach it really differently. And if there's like a chef competition, like he wipes the floor with me.
Right.
Do you have to say that because your restaurant is so much more successful?
Yeah,
We love you, Rich.
Love you, Rich.
Rich, we love you. We need a reservation at 8, not 5:30. Okay, not 10 p.m. and not at the bar, and not at that new seating that you put in front of the kitchen. No. Okay, so. Obviously, Carbone, it becomes super successful. How much is the game nurturing relationships with famous people because of what they bring to the success of the restaurant? I.e., Jay-Z coming into the restaurant, Justin Bieber getting rejected and humiliated outside of it. But how much is it like you nurturing those relationships?
I always say that it's really flattering when they come, because they can call anybody, right? Like there's no door that's not going to take Jay, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that he came tonight means that he's selected there, he's chosen to go there. So I think it's really flattering when we do get these sort of big celebrities and athletes. And as far as taking care of them, I think the most important thing is making sure that you do everything you can as a restaurant, as a team, to protect their privacy. You know, they're not there to be on display. You want to try to make an environment that's really nurturing for that, and make sure that they're protected. The team knows that. Their anonymity is everything to me. And I think if you do that, then they respect it, put out a good product, make something they want to come back for. And, you know, hopefully they'll be part of the regulars.
How does the public find out that all these celebs are going there? If you're,
I think that's
everyone's
word of mouth.
everyone's got a phone too.
I think it's like, yo, Jay-Z was at the restaurant while we were there.
Have you ever had to throw a patron out because they didn't know how to act around a famous person?
I don't think we've ever thrown anybody out. I think we've definitely like gotten in the way of photos. Hey, I'm sorry, but Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so's, you know, they're having dinner. Please respect that. I don't think we've ever thrown anybody out. No.
Anybody that's banned.
We have a few banned.
Who's banned?
I don't know who's banned. To get one of the only ways to get banned in this company.
You think he's a rat? You think he's a fucking rat?
One of the only ways to get banned in the company is to treat the staff poorly.
So who treats them the
if
worst?
you're a dick to
Give
the
us
staff,
some shit. Rich would tell us. Rich would totally tell us. So would Zelazny.
snitches get stitched.
So would Zelensky. Who's the guy that Zelensky is the guy.
Did you ever say thank you?
Ukrainian?
No, Zelaznik.
Yes.
So they would tell us, give us a little dirt. Who's a piece of shit to the staff? Who should we know
That person
about?
deserves to be outed.
They deserve to be outed. Jeff Bezos.
No, Bezos is a good guy.
I heard that he offered to put you in the spaceship with all the girls.
Is that true?
Yo, I would get so claustrophobic in the spaceship.
Yeah.
I did the Today Show last week from
That's your concern.
from a cruise ship.
I'm bonding
And I
with you.
was
I'm
freaking
like
out.
severely claustrophobic.
Yo, I can't get in this thing.
If I was ever trapped in an elevator with any of them for 30 seconds, they would never respect me as
He
a man.
does.
I
He
don't know,
is, seriously.
right?
Yeah. Fuck that, dude.
Like that.
I hate
Okay,
it.
so you're not going to give us any shit. You're not going to give us.
Wait, but why
any-
would someone get banned? They're a dick to the
If
staff.
you like treat the staff poorly, you cuss at them, you get drunk, you yell at them, God forbid you put your hands on them, like you got you're never coming back. And we have door guys and we have security around. I mean, the restaurants are too busy and too high profile to not. But the fastest way to never come back here is to mistreat the staff.
And that's part of, I assume, I was thinking the service at your restaurant is really good, and I really appreciate, I'm a Southern boy, so like manners mean a lot. Is that part of your 50s aesthetic? Like every waiter going out of their way to do such a, it seems like there's like a show involved.
I think they
for
go
the
out of the,
waiters.
I mean, I'd like to think they go out of the way because they, that's their home too, right? Like you're disrespecting their home. This is where they make their money. This is their family too. The staff doesn't really turn over. They're really close they're a really close knit group.
Do you train them to do any like it's kind of a show? When I went to Carbone, it was like a,
There's a certain amount of there's a cadence to how I want and we do kind of put it in the book too, a cadence to how we talk to tables and how we take an order. There's a way that we do it. Like Ricky's voice is basically in this book as how we take an order. Because they're captains. They're not there to take orders, right? They're there to guide your
Coach you
experience.
through the
They're there to
experience.
guide your experience.
When was the first time Carbone was mentioned in a rap song?
First rap song I think was Drake.
that was the first one?
I think Drake was the first one to do it. I think so.
And did that blow your mind? Like, how do you find out about it?
that's a great
What'd
question.
you
Yeah,
think?
people just started texting it to me. We didn't know what was happening, of course. And it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'll be working out in the gym and like some song will come on and they'll mention Carbone. It's absolutely bananas.
Did he hit you up before?
No. I mean, no one's told me before. I mean, it's been it's happened a couple times. It was just like the cover of someone's album, someone that's on Rock Nation. Like they just took an iPhone photo in front of Carbone, and that was the cover of their album.
Wow. Did you talk to him since? Like, did you hit Drake up like, yo, thank you for the shout out?
I've never thanked him for it.
Really?
No.
Oh, hey, real quick. Can we send our flowers? Take a break from this episode. We got to send our flowers to Volk.
Oh,
Alexander
yeah.
Volkanovsky, 46 years old.
Yo, Alexander the Great. 46.
Isn't he 46?
36.
Why are you aging him like that? That's fucked up.
I thought he was 46. He had a whole rugby career.
That's actually decent logic. I see that. He
I
was a
thought I heard
professional in
46, and I was
another
like,
sport.
oh, that makes sense.
You are bad at math.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing.
But no, for real, shout out to Volk, man. That was an unbelievable fight. Because that guy, Diego Lopez.
It's less
is-
impressive now that I know he's not 46, but it was still really impressive. It's still really impressive.
Nah, he's a beast, man.
That guy Lopez was scary as shit.
Also coming off of, I think, 3 straight losses, and 2 of them are knockout
Yeah.
losses.
Yeah.
Like, you're out completely.
Yeah.
And to come back after that was awesome. To get clipped during the fight and literally be blind in one eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the fight, but it was phenomenal.
It was fantastic.
Like, he was
Like unbelievable.
doesn't stop moving the entire fight, constantly making Lopez, and Lopez, give credit to him too. Like, he just kept coming forward.
Dog, his chin is nuts.
That motherfucker is a beast. He's going to be around for a while. It's it was just awesome to see.
But
it was awesome.
As very much a casual, I'm watching this fight and I'm like, dude, I don't know how our boy wins this. Because Diego Lopez is big and he seems like he hits fucking crazy hard.
Yep.
And even though the reach difference apparently wasn't that big, that wasn't that much, he looks so much bigger.
That's the thing. Volk is small, but he's got a 72-inch reach.
Yeah. Wow.
So your reach is usually kind of your height.
Yeah.
So he's a guy. Volk is probably 5'6", something like that.
Yeah.
Like
70, I think it's 70 inches, and that's a guy at 5'10 normally has.
he has a
70
6-foot reach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys, he has that advantage, and I think that's why he's able to, like, did you see him peppering him with jabs?
Yeah.
So you're standing at distance with this guy who's much smaller than you, and you're like, there's no way he's in punching distance, and then boom,
Yeah.
catches you. But there are these moments, and this is the thing that's like about fighting, especially MMA. You got basically nothing on your hands. So whoever connects, the other person goes down. And there were these exchanges where they would both sit down, bite the mouthpiece. I don't know if you saw it. Like, Volk would come in with a 1 or slip and then come over the top with a 2. And then he'd add 3 more punches to it.
Yeah.
And in that exchange, they're both throwing.
Yeah.
And it's not like they have their eyes closed, but you're really just throwing.
Yeah.
You're not even, you're assuming the other guy's going to throw, and you're like, I hope I land first.
Yeah.
And we got to watch that for 5 rounds.
Yeah, it was a great fight.
It's an insane thing to witness.
Awesome.
Anyway, I'm just so happy for him. Even if he wants to retire right now, he doesn't have to. He has so many more. But like,
No, he's a legend.
what an accomplishment. You
Insane.
did it.
Insane.
Also to do it in Miami, same place where Izzy came back and took out Pereira. I mean, they're part of the
think
same
about
camp.
that.
Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
cool. There's a lot of cool vibes there.
Yeah. Man, shout. So, we love you, Volk.
Yeah.
Miss you.
Never bet against Volk. That's what I said.
Yeah.
He did
Last
say that.
episode.
He did call that.
Last episode.
He did call that.
Never bet
Decision.
against
That's what I
him.
said. Volk wins by decision.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You were absolutely right.
What round?
Don't check it, but
Okay.
decision in the first round. That's what I said.
I think he's at second.
Anyway, what else we got? We got NBA playoffs.
Yeah, this is your time to shine. I hope the Mavs lose. Oh, Luka came back. It was crazy. Luka coming back to Dallas his first game.
Oh, did you watch it?
No, I couldn't watch it. I'm too sad. I'm too broken. I'm broken. I saw the video that they played after. You trade a fucking guy and then play him and he doesn't want to leave. Luka starts crying before the game.
Yeah.
Watching the video, this guy did not want to leave Dallas. It's the most obvious thing in the world. The only thing that made me happy is my friend went to the game and sent me, I have it on my phone, I could probably pull it up, but the Fire Nico chant in the arena.
Crazy.
Nico's the GM of the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Fire Nico. So fucking loud.
Oof.
And I'm glad at least, and I think he knows anyway, but I'm glad Luka got to see that. Like, nobody's. He got a crazy ovation. People are cheering for the Lakers.
That's cool.
There's still a lot of people cheering for the Mavs, like, no matter what, but apparently they're going to lose like $100 million in revenue, they think, from this trade.
And how is that? Ticket pricing,
And
sponsorship?
people aren't, they raised ticket prices twice since the trade, which is insane. Season ticket prices. People aren't renewing. I think people aren't buying as much merch now. I love Kyrie, but you're not that inclined to buy a Kyrie jersey.
Also, he's injured.
And he's injured. AD, you're probably not, even though he's actually good, he is always hurt. And you're always going to look at him as the guy who they traded Luka for. So they're never going to really.
Oh, wow.
So it's just the fucking stupidest trade I've ever seen in my life. And then Luka went out for 45 on like 60% shooting. Like, he just went nuts. And I'm really, this isn't the first time in my life I'm like rooting for the Lakers. Like, if they won, I'd be so happy for him.
Poor Akash.
Yeah.
You had some good wins early in your life. I'm not even worried about you.
Yeah. Since age 10, it's been pretty rough.
All right, so who do we think wins? Like, what's happening right here in the NBA playoff
So
picture?
the West is super tight. It's
Right.
like the Lakers and Wolves, I think, are the 6-3 matchup.
But can anybody beat the Celtics?
Ah,
My understanding is that just from speaking to people around the league, it's like, and this is fucked up to even put out there, but the conversation is essentially if everybody's healthy on the Celtics, they're winning it. So they're almost hoping, and this is fucked up.
Yeah.
But they're hoping for an injury
Yeah. No,
because that's the only way it happens.
That sucks.
That sucks. But that's how dominant they believe it is. Oh shit! Did the Warriors not make it in?
No, they won their play-in
They
game.
did win their play-in.
Yeah. So they're 7th. I think that's inaccurate. They barely beat the Wolves. There was a comeback. They won by like 5 in the end. Steph, dude, you know what? I watched Steph in the Olympics the first time I rooted for him. Everything I say about Golden State fans, I've taken back. It's the most fun thing in the world.
It's incredible.
It's so fun getting to root for
incredible.
Steph, and I was like, oh, I love this guy. I take back every negative thing I've ever said about him. He's
I think
awesome.
because your team was in the Western Conference, it was harder.
Yeah. I hated him.
The fact that like we are Knicks fans, you can kind of root. I don't want to say root for West Coast teams, but like you're not really tripping off them that much until you reach the finals. And the Knicks never reach the finals, so I'm not really that worried.
And also, if you're a big LeBron fan, that's the guy that was always in the way.
Yeah.
That team was always in the way.
Yeah.
So LeBron has 8 rings if it's not for Steph and the Warriors. But I was like, if him and Jimmy Butler went to the finals, that'd be the greatest fucking thing. And I think they'd give the Celtics a hard time.
This is the thing. Jimmy is a different player in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like,
He
and
went off last night in the play-in.
admittedly so.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Yeah.
I told you this. Like, he straight up told me, I was like, how many guys can actually step it up to another level in the playoffs? And he was like, there's 5. And he named them. And I was like, what's the difference? He's like, yeah, during the regular season, it is what it is. And then the playoffs is like, we start to really lock in. And there's like 5 guys that can lock in. One of those guys, he said, was Joel Embiid, which I didn't even consider. And I was like, really?
Wow.
He goes, that man is not to be played with.
Wow.
And I don't know. Like, I've seen him be effective, but maybe
Yeah.
because he's kind of slow and plodding. I guess I didn't
Yeah, I don't see that
view
either.
him in that way. But Jimmy's not one to bullshit about that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's seen KD. He's like, yeah, KD's crazy. Like, anyway. But Jimmy's the type of guy that's going to win you a playoff game by himself.
Yeah.
So one
Maybe a
of those
series.
games, he will win you by himself.
I mean, he took them to the Heat to the finals by himself.
By himself.
basically.
So now you get some Steph action. Let's say Draymond steps it up. I'm not saying he's going to be scoring, but there's a different level of intensity that Draymond's going to bring to the game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to count the Warriors out.
And that'd be an awesome story.
Imagine.
Lakers and Warriors would both be so fun.
Yo, the NBA is fine this year if the Western Conference Finals. What can it even look like that in the?
I think
Can it even go Lakers, or are they going to play each other before that?
I think they can because I think the Lakers are the 3 seed, so they play the winner of the 2-7.
No, they would
Oh
play-
yeah, they play them in the second round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine.
I think though I don't know why I don't believe in the Rockets. Maybe I just haven't watched enough this year, especially
nobody
post trade.
believing in the Rockets,
But I think that's a very winnable series for Golden State. I think.
Yeah, I think Golden State. I'll tell you one thing. I think the Rockets are scared shitless.
Oh yeah, this is because it's all new to them.
I mean, no, it's like you know who you're going up against, and you know these motherfuckers can hoop, especially in the playoffs. So it don't matter what happened during the regular season because you got half-ass played in the regular season.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So you let them, not you, but like somehow they inch into the playoffs, and now the season starts over.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that, like, say what you want about the Lakers. Like, there were times during the season where LeBron at 40 is just carrying the team.
Yeah.
That's going to happen for the next few weeks. So get fucking used to it.
Yeah, he took a few nights off so he could carry the team.
Yeah.
And now you got Luka too, and Luka can carry a team.
And that's the reason why the Lakers, now defensively, I don't know what happens. And obviously in the playoffs, like, you need to lock in.
Yeah.
But has LeBron been on a team, and I'm sure the answer is yes, but has LeBron been on a team where there was another ball handler that could also do the things he can do? Score from 3, get a bucket whenever he wants, and get other people involved. Has he played with another?
Kyrie, but I don't know about the getting other people involved.
Yeah, Kyrie is a really good example. And then look how well that went.
Yeah.
But
Like-
maybe D Wade a little bit on the Heat.
Oh yeah,
And look how well that went. It's like, it's almost like, I mean, this is so stupid to say. Like, obviously, LeBron plays really well when another top 5 player in the league is on his team. But like, specifically, like AD, he's not taking the ball up, putting himself in position and scoring.
Yeah.
He kind of needs you to set him up a little bit. Luka's like, you either get out the way and I get a bucket, or you set a screen and I'm on some bum and I get a bucket.
Yeah.
And LeBron is the exact same.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I haven't even given a fuck during the regular season.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of into this.
Yeah. It's going to be brutal for me to watch, but yeah.
What about in
And
the East? What happens in the East?
Ain't nobody giving a fuck.
Knicks all the way.
It's the Knicks, obviously.
Alex has been to so many games this year. I trust his judgment. How many games have you been to again? 40, 41?
Shut up.
1? You've been to 1?
Shut up.
Okay. Just curious. I was just checking.
Anyway, listen, if you're going to gamble, if you're going to put all your money on the Knicks, as you should, Stake is the leader in global betting and U.S. social casinos. Bet top sports and political events. Use the promo code FLAGRANT for your welcome bonus. Now let's get back to the show. What are the rules to sending food back? at the restaurant?
Yeah.
I think if you order something that's has a specific in it, it's cooked to this temperature, I want it without pistachios, I think, and it didn't happen that way. You order an expensive steak, you want it rare, and it comes out well done. Like, send that shit back. That should be sent back. That was completely mismanaged. Like,
What about a hair?
I would send it back. I mean, like, that's disgusting. It should be sent back. It should be taken off the bill. It should be made right.
I kind of just, if it's not on the food, I'll
take
pluck
that
it to the
shit off.
side.
It depends how long it is. The
Yeah.
length of the hair makes a huge difference.
You're saying if it's like a full, like your length hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a whole strand, like
If I found out you got women cooking,
but if you get a little pube in there,
Let
you
me
just pull it out.
find out.
dude, what is this, Torrisi? Rich, we love you. Okay, is the Italian food in New York City better than the Italian food in Italy?
It's completely different. They don't even they don't look anything alike.
Can you get better Italian food in New York than you can in Italy?
Oh, wow.
This is my take, but I'm really glad that you are supportive of this. And you
I
believe this.
think the highest level Italian food in New York beats the highest level in Italy all day.
Wow.
Now,
All day.
my take is that the mom and pop Italian in Italy is going to beat the mom and pop Italian on average in
Accurate.
New York.
I agree with
but
that
the
take.
highest level, and I would go not just Italian, I'd go the highest level, whatever food in New York is going to beat any other country.
He's trying to get him
Well, any
swimming
other
with
country?
the
The
fishes right
only
now.
thing I would say
Compared
is
to
like
Japan.
Japan is like such that's such an outlier. You can't even count them.
See,
It's AI. They're AI. They're AI. It's-
Asian intelligence. That's what happens.
Thoughts on that?
I don't think that that's totally inaccurate. I think New York is the greatest food city in the world, and at the highest level, it is often better than the best in that country because it has to be
Wait, why does it have to be?
to survive.
Yeah.
Because there's so much competition.
Yeah,
in
if you're in
restaurants.
New York, if you're going to have the best Indian restaurant in New York, it better be one of the best restaurants in the world.
Jersey kind of beats out.
But he likes the mom and pop Indian
What
shit.
is Jersey be?
Look at his face.
I know.
Look at his
disgusting.
face, dude.
I love
He's
that.
fighting
That's
Botox right now. Look at that fucking forehead working
gave him a
overtime.
wrinkle.
He's working overtime.
Give him a ring. Olive oil and pasta steam. Wait, go. Answer
Indian
that.
food. The best Indian food is in Edison. Desi Galaxy, you and I go one time, you're going to fucking party.
There's
dude.
Galaxy in
He
there?
likes
yeah,
it
you're
when,
gonna
like
fucking
it's stewed with a
party.
foot. Like it's a different type.
It does taste authentic, but it's also better.
Next time you're going to bring us some.
Indian food don't carry well, but if you want to come to
Indian
Jersey,
food carries great.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's probably the
The
best.
single
Just
biggest
stew.
delivery food in the world is
Dosa
one of the
don't carry
worst.
well.
Pizza carries like shit.
Yeah.
It's the biggest delivery food in the world.
dosa. Have you ever had dosa carry out? Just doesn't hit the same.
No.
A curry in a bag. I mean, that's
Curry in
gonna
a
go
bag
crazy.
is
Butter chicken and all that's
Banging.
fine, but yeah, we can get that too.
it's just getting better.
Yeah.
With the oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but not veg food, which a lot of Indian food is. It's better there. We'll go there.
Keep bullying him on this because
Yeah,
he's
no.
about to.
We're not
walk
going to
in.
go, but I would do takeout.
It's not gonna be as good, but I'll take it. We'll do it. We'll do it. Let me get Carbone takeout.
but that's just not happening.
Oh, why is that?
I mean, we're too.
It's not as good?
We're too busy.
Think they didn't take out the 50?
Did you take out dollars?
Desi Galaxy. Desi Galaxy don't need your takeout dollars.
Carbone does not eat takeout
I
dollars.
did get Carbone takeout during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's right. We kept the lights on with that one.
Yeah.
We got shut down by the cops.
First time a black person ate at Carbone and wasn't a celebrity.
Dude, how have you accomplished that? It's so refreshing.
Lots of black people at Carmel.
That's not a celebrity.
It's not my fault you're not famous.
Yo, step it up. I'm just saying.
He doesn't deny it. I'm just saying.
Okay, be a hedge fund manager
Yeah,
or
no,
something.
I know you now, so we.
Okay, here.
My name's Alex,
This is
but-
an important. This is a very important question.
Okay.
All right.
How do you communicate to somebody at a table that it's time to leave because you have another reservation without telling them it's time to leave?
You start taking things off the table. So slowly, one item at a time, you start
Yeah.
taking things off the table.
Yeah, that's
So the first thing is you start taking things off the table. You've dropped the bill, right? That's the first move. Drop the bill. If the bill's on the table and they haven't paid it yet, then you're going to slowly start taking things off the table until they realize, potentially subliminally, oh, we probably should go. They're removing things. They may not. The next round would be like to offer them an after dinner drink somewhere else in the restaurant, at the bar, another location.
So that's the emergency. That's like,
Can I buy you guys a drink at the bar? I need you off this table.
if you have to go
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
you offer. That's class.
That's nice.
I'm gonna pay you to leave.
Yeah.
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 Because you're guessing, right? You're guessing the amount of time people are going to stay, and you've built this book off of that.
Yeah.
So if they're staying far too long, then it's going to start screwing up the next round.
Yeah.
That's why it's so, just to go back to that earlier question, saying to someone, I have to leave in 45 minutes is very valuable to a restaurant.
Incredibly valuable.
It's funny, like, I would do that, especially now that we have a kid. Like, if we just pop into some place and we're just like, hey, it's 2 enough. I'll start it out being like, we have 40 minutes with this baby before it's time. And you'd be surprised
Your
how
chances
often
are going to go through the roof.
because in that early time, like before, when is the rush? Maybe like 7 o'clock reservations?
Starts around 7.
So if you're in that like 6 o'clock range, they're scared that you could push back, I imagine, the 7s.
Yeah, I can't. Even if that table's available, it's not really.
Because it's
it's
7.
about to get sat.
Yeah.
But you could potentially get in and get out.
Yeah.
And the restaurant just won a whole nother seat.
It's free money.
Yeah.
Do people bring their kids to Carbone?
Very rarely.
Yeah, I
Very
don't feel
rarely.
like a kid.
But like a 5 o'clock seating?
We frown on that.
He's trying to bring his kid.
But you know what's funny? So there's restaurants, there's different, okay.
What's more
maybe
Italian American than bringing their kid to a restaurant?
Well, actually, what's more Italian? I don't know. Italian American might have different. I'm curious, how do you communicate to people that it's not kid friendly without saying it directly? I've seen some.
Well, I think it's actually part of our reservation protocol. Like, you make a reservation, the email confirmation probably says at some of the restaurants that like children under a certain age,
so there's
along with like shorts and sandals, shit like that.
there's some restaurants just won't have baby chairs. That's a great way of doing it.
I mean, if you're like a brunch restaurant, then that's obviously a kid-friendly environment.
Yeah.
If you're going for like a really nice dinner, probably not the place for an infant. Right?
How do you
Screaming
talk to someone that shows up in sandals?
That's why we built it into that's why we have like a backup and says, hey, listen, it's actually on your reservation. It says, like
What do you
proper
do?
attire.
Do you reschedule
Mark's
them?
really asking questions for himself.
In Miami, you'll wind up sitting outside.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
This is how you enforce the sandal requirement. There's another way of enforcing it, which my dad taught me, not about restaurants, but it was like the way that the people that work there are dressed defines how the people that attend dress. So if you have everybody that works there in tuxedos, it's hard to show up in shorts. But if everybody that works there is in shorts, then the people that show are going to be in shorts. And they'll feel,
Can I call out somebody that refuses to wear pants?
yes.
Noriega.
Nori wears shorts everywhere.
Fucking refuses to put pants on. I don't know if he owns pants.
Joey, go grab me the Drink Champs heavyweight championship belt that's out there.
Refuses to wear pants.
That's
like, not to the restaurant, in life.
Because he's on the run eating.
good.
Carbone and Noriega.
You can't be on the run if you're not in shorts.
Oh, so you enforce the shorts rule even in the Miami?
You sit outside if you're in shorts.
Okay.
Can I ask a question based on that? Do you miss the outside dining at your New York location?
Not at all.
I was just wondering.
Not at all.
like-
I mean, listen, it was revenue for us. It was good revenue for us, but for the city, it had to go.
Yeah.
It had to go.
Why?
Because there was no rules around it.
Yeah.
These restaurants don't really have extra money to do it, right? But they need to capitalize on it. So they're building up these shanty towns in front of their restaurants, right? It's a horrendous look for the city. Then it breeds.
Thank you, Ricky.
It breeds.
Appreciate you.
What's going on here?
So I just did Drink Champs and I got the belt.
Did you win something or you just get it?
No, I just put it on. He's like, nobody's ever done this, all the episodes we've ever had. He goes, I want you to take this with you.
Oh, that's fire.
That's awesome.
So this
You
is
are
the
the
Drink
Drink
Champs heavyweight belt. But, listen, this can be with you right here.
This is nice. Oh,
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dude. Come on. Okay.
it's nice. Nice piece.
Here's a question. You got Carbones all over the world now, or at least the country. I'm pretty sure the world.
Oh, well.
No, you got
Yeah.
some.
How do you maintain quality, consistency?
It's the number one thing that I spend the most of my time on, and the most difficult thing I think is consistency. Trying to build protocols and like WhatsApp chats and video zooming and digital recipes and all sorts of like processes so that the chefs can communicate all over the world because they're all making virtually the same thing. We're spending more money and more time every year to try to get better at it. It's really hard. It's really the hardest thing. It's harder than everyone assumes it's staffing, which is hard. But once you get good people, I think they stay because they want to be part of a good team and they want to make good money, right? It's the consistency that is number one by far for me and the thing that will keep me up most at night.
Yeah, consistency is, I think, or inconsistency is the one thing that would make me stop going to a restaurant.
Like, how many chances are you going to give a restaurant?
Yeah.
How many?
One.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
One.
And if it fucks up, I hesitate the next time.
One.
Yeah.
Because there's like, especially when you're in New York City, there's hundreds of restaurants you haven't even tried yet. So if I keep going to the same restaurant, I'm making a choice to not go to all those other ones. And if you fuck up the meal that I'm expecting and excited to have one time, the next time I'm about to go, I'm like, shit, it might get fucked up again.
It's not only
Not
the
only
meal.
did I lose that customer, how many people did he tell?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And it's not just the meal, it's the service, it's the music, it's the table you get.
Okay. So you can't have the chef there 7 days a week.
No.
Is your A chef as good as your B chef?
No, otherwise he'd be the A chef.
So then how do you maintain consistency? Or maybe a better question is, what days is your A chef there?
It's tough with Carbone because we're blessed to kind of have the same business almost every night. Usually what you do is you put your B chef on your B nights, right?
Which is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Sunday maybe, depending on the location. Like
I feel like New York Sunday's a big...
Sunday can be big. It depends. If you're uptown or you're midtown, the weekends are quiet.
Because that's
Midtown's
workers.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday quiet.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah.
Sunday closed.
Yeah.
Midtown quiet. Downtown's you have a good Sunday, so you're looking at Monday, Tuesday. The best nights for us in the company are Wednesday, Thursday usually.
Ooh, because what, the weekends people go away?
Thursday's like the biggest night of the week for sales.
Wow.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's been like that for a while now. Thursday, I mean, yeah, you get a Friday. Saturday is that kind of like bridge and tunnel thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's a lower check average. It's more customers. They eat for less period of time.
Yeah.
They spend less money. They spend less time there. So
Yeah.
we do more reservations. It takes more customers to do the same number of revenue on sale.
Yeah, they have to leave because they got to go to Desi Galaxy and
They got to go back. They got to go back to the kids, the nanny, whatever.
Oh,
like
that's interesting. How do you preserve the brand? So not only is the restaurant and all the particulars of actually dealing with the day-to-day, but the brand of Carbone, like this global entity, how do you make sure that doesn't get diluted as you spread into more markets?
It's a great question. I think you have to, be okay with a certain amount of dilution, right? You have to understand that it's no longer as potent as it was when there was one.
Sure.
Wow.
You have to make peace with that.
Yeah.
You're now on an entrepreneurial journey. And it's no longer about, I'm the chef of this one restaurant. I'm here every night. I'm going to cook for you, which is a beautiful thing. But when you've made that choice to take on a more entrepreneurial venture, you have to make peace with that to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. And now that we're growing further and further beyond that one location, it becomes consistency. Can somebody on the other side of the world tonight have a very similar pasta than they will in New York? Mm-hmm. That for me, that's all the brand. That's the brand right there, right? I can set the playlist. I can make the uniforms the same. I can do all of those moves. But what's going to happen when the waiter delivers that plate of food?
Is there ever a moment where you're like, this dish is too difficult to replicate the same way? Okay.
Yeah.
And then in that circumstance, do you just reduce the level of difficulty of the dish?
And what dish?
Yeah, I think we've done that a lot over the last few years, is trying to make things that are, I call them big bullseye, like they have a big bullseye. They're much more easily replicable for whatever reason than a dish that takes a lot of in-the-moment talent. Like the ticket comes in, I ordered this thing, and it takes a great deal of talent to make this from scratch versus something that is predetermined to be in a big strike zone. And I have a pretty good confidence that it's going to land somewhere here and it's going to be pretty tasty.
Can you give us examples of big bullseye and maybe even small bullseye?
Like rigatoni vodka, which I sell probably the most of all the restaurants, right?
You call it rigatoni vodka? That's what you call your dish?
Rigatoni alla vodka?
That everybody calls the spicy rig?
Spicy, what, spicy. What do we want?
You don't know that that's what everybody
crazy.
calls
Spicy
it,
rig?
the spicy rig?
The spicy rig?
You don't know this about you?
The spicy
You
rig?
don't know this about you.
Tell me about me.
It's like I'm finding out Hulk Hogan doesn't know about ripping his shirt off. Like, you don't know it's called the spicy rig?
With a the?
It's so profound. It's called the spicy rig.
Go to Carbone, get the spicy rig.
Get the spicy rig.
right.
Yeah. You're not aware that that's how people speak about it?
I didn't really think that it was like it had a title like that.
He's doing market research.
There's
right?
a,
I'm like, my mind
there's
is
a
blown.
prefix. There's a the.
You
Capital.
get this. Okay. I would like to enter this discussion.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sure you're aware of like the dish from different restaurants.
yeah, of
I
course.
name a restaurant, you know exactly what
What's
it
the
is.
dish?
Polo Bar.
The burger.
That's interesting. You went with burger.
We're gonna go with the pastrami.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's iconic for that burger.
I think the specialty burgers they do are better than the burger that's on the menu.
Okay, I'll give you
But
that.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the pastrami sandwich,
Yep.
maybe. Okay. For you guys, spicy rig.
Yep.
I also think there's another thing for you guys, which is like it's experiential. I think that Polo Bar's in that version too. Where it's like
100%.
you're walking into a world.
It's immersive.
As you described it earlier, like
Yep.
the play is, I think that's, I haven't heard it described that way, but I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you're getting experience the second. You're not, it's actually like all the heavy lifting isn't on the food. The lifting has done the second you walk in.
Imagine you can be Henry Hill walking in the back of Copa.
Exactly.
If I can deliver that,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
but that's a perfect shot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a perfect shot that Scorsese set up to have all that shit happening.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
have to have running for 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
I have to have a 6-hour Fellini movie happening at all times where there's a guy lighting something on fire, there's a hot girl in the corner, there's an athlete over there, and then you walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you're having that Henry Hill moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to have that going for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Reservation.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great.
Okay,
that's
so
wow.
Torrisi, for example, what would you go with? What is the dish? What is the thing that speaks to you? Or just
I
stands out?
The dish there for me is there's a couple. There's the Jamaican beef patty cavatelli, which we've been doing since the original. Because when we built Torrisi,
Rich, did you see he just took credit for your dish?
that restaurant,
Pomodoro, the tortellini.
the tortellini is
The
tortellini is probably the one.
The tortellini is
Yeah.
crazy
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
We wanted to make Italian food that was we called it
New
New
York.
Yorkese.
Yeah.
Right. It was like, because there isn't really Italian food in Italy. There's regional Italian
Yeah.
food, and they don't fuck with the other regions, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
Tuscany doesn't care about Sicily, right? There's no like
They just
one,
became Italy.
Yeah.
Before that, they're these individual
they've been in
tribes.
Italy way
that-
less years
yeah.
than we've been in America.
Yeah.
And so we were like, what if we make our own region of Italian food that is New Yorkese?
That's great.
So we pulled from the Jewish Lower East Side. We pulled from Jamaican beef patties being in pizzerias randomly.
Yeah.
We pulled from
Yeah.
That is
all the
great.
German local. We pulled from
great.
all of that was New York to make this food
Yeah.
that was our New York food.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we believed that we were doing the most Italian thing possible by not making Italian food.
So, what do you think the dish is for Carbone?
Rigatoni.
It's the spicy rig,
Yeah.
right?
And that's the one that you think is
Spicy.
the most.
Rigatoni
He
al
still
vodka.
didn't.
Caesar
He still
salad and the veal parm.
Oh yeah, it's this. Yeah. Okay, so
Caesar salad.
what I think is it's spicy rig and then the Caesar, and then I think not the sleeper, but the one that actually knocks your socks off is the veal parm. So it's like the spicy rig everybody knows about. It's like obviously synonymous with the brand, but not everybody gets the veal parm. And then when you get it, it's like, why the fuck did anybody tell me about this one? Because I don't think I got veal parm until maybe a few times that I went there. But also it's the experience with the Caesar salad. That's really
Yeah.
fun. Like having them make it in front of you, that goes back to the theater.
Yeah.
Have you ever introduced a dish to any of the restaurants that didn't work?
Bombed.
All the time.
Like, what's an example?
Give me the biggest bomb.
Well, I mean-
We're comedians. We love bomb stories.
Bombs are more like no one orders it, right? Like less they order it and they don't like it, more like you put all this effort into something and 0 of them were ordered, you know?
Yeah.
And for chefs, usually it's like really chefy shit, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
you wanna get away from the mainstream ingredients because something's in season or something's, you know, some farmer drops something off and you're really excited about it.
a new joke.
And particularly at Carbone, because you're being bulldozed with the #1 menu, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's now ordering through social media and like
Yep.
the thing you have to order to be there, right? It's so hard to sell them something else at this point because they need the verification of being there.
Yeah, it's like Bert Kreischer's machine story.
So
This
I
is
can't.
what we came for.
I'm like, no, this thing's sure get the rigatoni, but I promise you, this is great.
So do you try, because you always hear something like the specials are, oh, these are older ingredients that the chef is trying to get rid of or whatever. Is sometimes the special this dish that the chef really wants to add to the menu maybe, and it's in the way we would try a joke at an open mic? Is that what it is? Or are specials just something that you generally shouldn't mess with?
No, I think specials this day and age are something that they're actually trying to work on, and it's
Okay.
new. I rather reprint the menu and not verbal a special. And so that when like Ricky verbals things at your table, that's part of a script, like kind of a script.
Yeah.
Because I want there to be a back and forth between you and the waiter. I don't want to just drop menus and then you come back and you tell me what you ordered. There's nothing there for me.
And I think
I
know,
want a conversation.
Yeah, you want the.
So I force these things. I force
Okay.
conversational moments
So smart.
during the order taking. Like
So smart.
like meatballs are not on the menu at Carbone. That's an intentional thing because as soon as you order pasta, that's a trigger for the waiter to say, "You want meatballs?
Yeah.
You want to put some meatballs
And
on the
automatically
table?"
the service feels better for me because we're having a conversation.
Where you're having a dialogue. There's a back and forth happening, and you're now all of a sudden you're now trusting this person. You're putting the rest of your experience in their hands. Later on, you're not even gonna know. But like, hey, just choose some desserts for me, right? You trust them. They're captaining your experience, and it's kind of a script that we laid out in the book because I wanted to memorialize like the language of Carbone because that's how we take an order there.
Are there any other secret menu items? Like you have the meatballs, obviously, that are kind of off menu, but anything else that someone could order?
Yeah, there's all sorts of like little, we call them pocket moves, right? Like things that you can do. I hate when the waiter has to ask the chef. Like when the waiter says that, oh, let me ask the chef.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't like that. I hate it in my restaurants. So I try to make sure that the waiters, the captains, they know all the things that are possible. So that when they're at a table and they're talking to you and you're like, yeah, no, I don't want the prosciutto. I don't eat pork. Oh, I can do roasted peppers with the mozzarella for you. That's not on the menu. But he knows. He's like, go ask the chef.
Smart.
I know what I can do for you. I can do this, right? Veal parm. Yeah, I'm not in the mood for veal parm tonight. You want to do a little Milanese? We'll put a arugula salad, some tomatoes on, a little lemon. Yeah, let's do that. Great. We'll do a Milanese. These are real waiters. These are lifelong waiters. These are not
their profession.
transient people that
They
are on
wanna
their
be an
way
actor
to. They're
or
not on their
something,
way
yeah.
to another thing. This is how they feed their family, right? So like, give them all the tools to take care of this table
That's fine.
and let us cook. You know, that's the model.
What are your other pet peeves for restaurants?
Might be my own.
Not your own restaurants, but just pet peeves in general. Like,
You go to a place.
yeah. What do you hate and you try to avoid?
I'm really
for your own
sensitive
place?
to lighting and music in restaurants at this point. If the lighting is really harsh or the music is just off, too loud, off theme, abrasive, I'm not feeling it. I'm immediately put in a weird like place. I'm not comfortable. I'm not cozy. I want warm lighting. I want whatever the music is. I want it to be the vibe of what I think this place is. And then those are my two biggest ones because I think that sets the tone. You know, how do I put people in their position to just kind of succumb to my thing tonight? And if you're not feeling it, you're uncomfortable, you're immediately you're in a defensive place, and I don't want that. I want you to give in. I want you to be part of my movie. I want you to be an extra in this thing. And to give in, you have to be totally comfortable and but you've mentally bought into this thing. As soon as that guy walks up to your table with giant menus, you're giving in. It's in your hands.
Yeah.
So the menus being huge,
Is a thing.
cartoonishly huge,
Yeah.
is a thing. What
100%.
purpose does it serve?
It felt like to me, At the time when we did it, again, we were going against these.
To people that don't know, can you just with your hands show how big a menu is from Carbone?
I mean, it's probably, you know,
He's not exaggerating.
2-3 feet by
It's a
3.
small flat screen TV.
Yes. It's gigantic. At the time, we were going against the micro tasting menu.
There was like a little
That
index
was,
card. There's
you're
4
here
things.
all night. It's the chef's way. There's no
You have
substitutions.
no autonomy, no agency.
You mean you matter nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You matter nothing.
Wow.
And here, you know, I remember writing in Italian, like have it your way. Like it says a piacere, like the way you want it. If you don't see anything on this menu, tell me what you want.
Yeah.
We want it to be a yes restaurant because that's what Italian restaurants are.
yeah.
Like Italian restaurants by nature, especially in Italy, is a night off for mom and dad. Because you eat so well at home.
Wow.
This is so fascinating. I never even considered that.
You eat so well at home that to go out, it's a night off for them.
Yeah.
So you're just using this restaurant as a conduit to eat well, hopefully.
I never considered
Yeah.
that. In a eat-in culture like Italy, it is not surprising that both parents know how to cook extremely well.
Extremely well.
In America, maybe one is proficient at cooking. In my family, neither. We ordered in every single night growing up in New York City, and we had the luxury to do that. But like, it was only like most family, maybe one knows how to do it. In Italy, both probably. If not them, close
Grandparents.
relatives,
No,
grandparents are ready to rock. So to choose to go out, of course the mom and pop restaurants are going to have high level cuisine because at home, you're competing with some serious shit.
You'll see legit grandmas.
Wow, I never considered that. So a night off. So the only reason you would go out, it's not to have better food. We would go out to have better food because my parents were proficient.
No.
You're going out to have a break from cooking and cleaning.
Yeah.
And if
And you're hoping it's as good as what's at home.
exactly, you're hoping, but bare minimum, what you can do is not bust my balls.
Yeah.
And that's what probably the experience is
I know what
longer.
I'm talking about. I'm a customer that's highly educated. I know what I want.
This is
Give me this.
I never
Yeah.
considered the competition. The greatest competition for restaurants in Italy is not other restaurants. It's how you cook in your own house.
That's why, by and large, super fine dining in Italy is not great. You know, in my opinion, because they're competing with phenomenal base food of their mom and their grandma. And so they're trying to make this thing that's nouvelle, this new take on it, when the base product is fucking fantastic.
And any time that I've gone to one of those places, and my wife and I have gone to Italy, and,
You're like,
and
why did I go? Yeah.
it's not it, dude. It's
You need to find a no-no somewhere.
or just go to that mom and pop restaurant that people talk about.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, in Florence, and we had legit grandmas cooking the food, and it was like, this is
Incredible.
fantastic.
All right, guys, let's take a break for a second because I just saved your traveling experience. Okay, and by me, I mean Exter. Okay, you know the wallets obviously has consolidated all the things that you need. A wallet that's made for the digital economy. A wallet that's not going to be. Well, I can't say if it's going to be stolen or not, but what I can say is that if they do steal it, you can track them. You can go right to their house. You can rob them back double, and it's completely legal, I'm pretty sure, in most countries. Definitely the United States of America. Don't quote me on that. But listen, there's this bag that's in front of me right now. What is this bag used for? Clothing. It has a vacuum seal option right here for your clothes.
Like your gym clothes if they smell.
Yeah, it's your gym clothes. Or also if you just want to travel, right? And you just want to make sure that you can fit as many shirts as possible. You can look at them. I'm vacuum sealing this shit right now. They got this vacuum seal thing right here. Okay, what is that going to do? It's going to put 15 shirts into a tiny little part of your bag. You're going to pack everything you possibly need because you would definitely be using it to pack shirts, 100%. Nothing else. No other materials. No other, incredibly profitable illegal things that you could use this for. This is for clothing, and that's what Exter wants you to use it for. And they're not responsible if you use it for anything else. You can take that information and do what the hell you want with it. But for me, clothing, because my wife and my baby are going to take up pretty much all the storage in any of our bags, I have been relegated to finding clever ways to pack the clothes that I want to wear whenever I go places. And Exter has my bag. Also, having a bag within your bag, incredible, by the way. Organize all the things you need, stuff it, contain it. You never have to go, oh, we don't have room for that. We always have room. You give me this amount of room, I'm going to pack my whole weekend. Exter's got your back. If you want to get this for your wife, great gift. Girlfriend, great gift. Mother, father, maybe if they're tech savvy and they know how to push a button. My parents are in their 80s, they'll have no fucking clue how to do that. Point is, Extra Spring Sale is here. You get up to 30% off site-wide on all their sleek smart wallets, the travel pack vacuum bags. But here's the real kicker. You can get up to 40% off with the promo code FLAGRANT at checkout. All you got to do is head to partner.extra.com/flagrant. That's partner.extra.com/flagrant. Shouts to Extra. Now let's get back to the show.
Guys, one of the most underrated movies to come out in the last like 20 years is getting a sequel. If you have not seen The Accountant, you need to go do that right now. It's fantastic. It's got Ben Affleck. It's not about accounting, all right? This guy's killing people. It's awesome. Christian Wolf in The Accountant 2 is dragged into a murder investigation when an old acquaintance is killed. It involves cryptic messages, and Christian, with the help of his estranged brother, played by one of the best actors on earth, John Barenthal. If you don't know who he is, you know who he is. Look him up. This guy's fucking awesome. And this movie has the same writer as the first movie, so it's not going to be one of those sequels that's completely different and it kind of sucks. And this is the kind of movie you gotta go see in theaters. There's going to be guns. There's going to be shooting. It's going to be fun. You don't want to watch it on a 35-inch TV at home. Go watch it in theaters. It's The Accountant 2. It comes out April 25th. Go watch it right now.
I was 20 and I just moved to Italy, and I moved to the middle of nowhere.
Where?
Northwestern Tuscany. Italy, Italian, English wasn't even really spoken.
Modena?
No, this is like north of Pisa, in like near. You're trying to like choose a town that maybe you've heard of that's near Lucca. It's middle of nowhere, and I moved there to live with a family that ran just like exactly the kind of restaurant you hope to run into when you're on vacation. The most amazing mom and pop restaurant. The family lived above the restaurant. The restaurant was on the ground floor. Their apartment was above it. I lived with the family in the extra room.
How'd you find these guys? Did you seek them out specifically?
Mario Batali helped me set it up.
Wow. So you're working at Babbo,
and I said,
talk to Mario. You asked him, say, I really want to learn.
I said, I'm from New York. I only know this food. I want to learn the origin of this whole thing.
Wow.
I need to train in Italy. I need to learn this.
Oh, that's
Can
cool.
you help me set up? Wow. He connected me to an author who lived in Rome, who knew this family, and I lived with them for like almost 2 years.
He saw talent in you early, though, Mario?
I think he saw an aptitude for work. I don't know if I had talent back then. I know I had a very high threshold for work.
He saw ambition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what was that experience like with the mom and pop? Were
Crazy.
Why?
Like life-changing. Like there's only one phone number for the whole building. So even if you're upstairs, like watching the soccer match, you have to answer the phone as if it's a reservation, right? It's your day off and you're upstairs and you're like, ristorante la dogana, pronto? Like you have to take a reservation. Like it's as mom and pop as it gets. And that was like, that totally.
How was your Italian at the time, and how much better did it get?
It was not good at all, but I had this is before like technology in your pocket. This is 2000. I had a little book in a little translator in my back pocket, a little thesaurus, and I would learn what I needed for the day. And by the time I was done, I spoke the language.
What did they think of you as like an Italian American?
They thought I was crazy, like a crazy American who works too much, like exactly what you would think a European thinks of an American.
Yeah.
Like, why do you work so hard? Can't you just take the afternoon off? It's not all about the paycheck. You need to they instill like the beauty of the process, you know? And a lot of it was, going to the field to find the thing or visiting the farmer, like exactly what you would think the quintessential food experience would be in Tuscany. I got to live that. A certain mushroom would come in and the chef would be like, hey, go up that road right there. You see those bushes over there? And like, yeah. He's like, there's an herb that grows over there. Pick a bunch of it and bring it over.
Wow.
It goes for this mushroom.
Oh, that's cool.
Like shit like that would happen to me. That's just like, as a kid from Queens, was like as life-changing as it gets. The Italian food that I knew was the Italian food I make today. Like real Italian, greasy Italian American food. That was like, wow, this is where it comes from. This is Vito Corleone.
Oh, that's interesting.
How do you feel about pop-up restaurants with like their curated like night? There's a story to the night. They have like the tables. What's it called? The tables that we all share.
Communal tables.
Communal tables. Like, how do you feel about those? Because I feel like those are becoming way more popular, and then they try to infuse like Nigerian and Italian, like crazy mixes that you wouldn't necessarily see. But do you think it's more of a gimmick, or is it like?
It depends on who's doing it. But like, I think if it's great, it's great, right? Like, if you believe it, if you're about it, if you've put the work into it,
Like, why can't that be your transportive experience? It doesn't have to be mine. Mine's mine. If that's yours, then great. I'm all for it. I want to experience it.
Okay, so you're in Italy. You're learning about the connectivity between, the
The land, the people, yeah.
And I'm sure they're teaching you some, what's that saying? Dolce far niente?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. The dolce fare niente.
Yeah.
The sweetness of nothing.
The sweetness of nothing.
Yeah.
And you're this ambitious American. Is there any point in time where you're there that you get caught up in their appreciation of life and you're able to kind of relax? Does some of your ambitions subside?
I think I learned a great appreciation for how they live. I think at 20 years old, as someone who wanted to like tackle the world, probably not. I think I was just as bullish coming back to the States after that trip about wanting to be this chef entrepreneur who conquers to New York more than ever. I don't think I didn't really I mean, I loved my like afternoons playing soccer and, like getting 4 hours off between lunch and dinner, but I knew that wasn't my life. I knew that I was coming back to Manhattan to be in the jungle and to conquer it.
I lived in Barcelona while I was in college from 20 to 21. And, but I had a similar experience. And there was this moment where I was like, wow, this is really enjoyable. Like hanging out with my friends, playing basketball together, going out, living on 10 euros a day. 5 euros of the 10 was spent to get into a bar and I got a free drink with the entrance. Like I saw this version of a life for me and it kind of scared me. I was like, well, this is too comfortable. I could enjoy this and I could do this. But there's this other part of me that was compelled to go do something quote unquote great, as if that's not great.
Yep.
That's also great. It is interesting that like, despite learning all those things, you still felt like the pull.
Yeah.
I think that's an American cultural trait that we don't communicate to each other enough. Europeans seem to know it about us. But I almost think that like it's expected of us and we're unaware of it. We're an ambitious people, man. Like
laughable at times.
Yeah. Yeah, like to experience that, like cooking at the highest level, let's call that the highest level for, I mean, I imagine you really respected the cuisine, right?
It was incredible.
So, and it's a different type of it, but you still felt like that eagerness, that urge.
Because for me, it was like, I knew that was just part of my journey to get to this end goal of make it in New York. That was the only goal for me.
Is that the pinnacle for what is the pinnacle for a chef?
As a New York kid, training in Manhattan, my ultimate goal, which I far exceeded, which is incredible, was just like make a name for myself in New York City, which seemed impossible. But I was going to give it my best shot. The best chefs in the world, the best restaurants in the world. There's so many of them. There's so much noise. There's so much talent. Can I make a name for myself in this city that I've always called home? So to get that recognition from like the New York Times, from the biggest publications of New York, from your colleagues, from your peers, was I couldn't have thought of anything higher. And now we've expanded far beyond New York. But for me, that was always the goal.
What has felt better, achieving that for yourself, or giving back to charity and letting Rich have an opportunity to do it?
Love you, Rich.
That's actually, I'm curious about that.
Rich, we love you.
Love you, Rich.
We love you, Rich.
Remind me the name of the restaurant you and Rich worked at, Cafe.
No, with the original one or the one that they built together?
That you all met.
Cafe Balud.
Cafe Balud.
Yeah.
So in the way Cafe Balud curated you, Rich, David, has Carbone curated any new restaurateurs that have gone off and made a name for themselves?
There's a great chef named Luciana who's in Miami. She was originally from Miami. She opened Carbone with us in New York, who's opened a handful of restaurants in Miami, who's been really successful. But by and large, I'm really proud that most of the great talent in the company has risen within the company. Yeah. So the people that run this company, like the top 10 people in this company, have been there since almost the beginning.
Wow.
They're partners in the company. They have ownership in it, and they've been there forever. So I'm really proud that they haven't had to leave, and we've grown fast enough to where even their ambitions were met within the walls of the company.
This with the twist right here,
Ricky!
It's really good.
Have you been overserved?
Yeah.
I've never had a martini with a twist.
Do you have any more like restaurant tips that you gave, like with the champagne with the wine glass, or maybe even
How can we
don't.
seem classy?
Yeah.
I heard my name. There you go.
Ricky, this is not dirty, the one with the twist. So what's in it? Just tell me, break that down for me. I've never had a martini with a twist.
Martini with a twist. Nice. He just does a little stir.
Yeah.
Makes it nice. Little vermouth, and it gives you a little nice spritz with a lemon twist. Simple. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
You're fantastic. You're fucking fantastic.
Are you married?
Yes, I am married.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You see the ring, dude.
For how
Oh,
long?
I didn't see it.
10 years.
Wow, what's his name?
My man. Let me check. Let me go check.
Okay.
Anybody else see something else?
A little something.
Yes,
Al.
please.
Al,
Thank
a
you.
little something.
Nah,
We need a little
nah,
something.
come
What do you got,
myself.
buddy?
This is fantastic.
Make me some Garibaldi's.
Garibaldi's right away, chef.
Giuseppe Garibaldi, the patron saint of the Italian Americans.
So, I
Don't
think
tell
you guys,
Sinatra.
you guys had a question. Let me ask one real quick. If you're a tourist coming to New York, let's say you try to go to Carbone, you can't. Sedell's, Torrisi, you can't. Where else can you go if you're like, yo, this is what I would tell any tourist. This is the best places to eat in New York to experience the city.
I would send him to Katz's.
Good call.
It's very hard to find a restaurant that embodies New York quite like Katz's.
Okay.
I would send him to Katz's, maybe Peter Luger's.
My dad's 84 years old, and his family would go to Katz's.
I mean, it's still fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, complain all you want for what it costs. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the few old school places that are still around that are putting out product as good as they have since day one. It's incredible.
Oh, let's go through it. Best pizza in New York City. Let's break some hearts right now.
So I'm going to put Lucali up there because Mark's my cousin.
That's your cousin?
Basically.
He's been shot so many times. I didn't realize that he's
him
been
in
shot
50,
so many
him in
times.
50, yeah.
We were hanging out at. Do you know Wayne? Wayne Boych?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we're at Wayne's house. We're for this paddle thing. Yeah. We got to get you on paddle. You're on tennis. I don't know why you're playing tennis.
Oh, a real sport.
It's like using a typewriter. Tennis. Like you got to go with what's new.
It's like the 1950s.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You're trying to have like an immersive experience when you're doing
It's
sports
like
too.
ping pong for adults, but sure.
Yeah. People like ping pong. China's taking over. So with and we're hanging out there and we're talking. He starts telling me the story about how he got shot up.
He got stabbed.
Stabbed. You know, it's funny that he would lie and make it a gun.
Well, I mean, he got stabbed like 20 times.
Jeez.
Yo,
Wait,
talk
why?
your shit.
Hold on, story.
He'll tell the story. We got to get him on here. So that's your cousin.
I told him I was
Cousin
going to tell him to
Jace.
come to today. It would have been funny.
I mean, it would have been great. So, like, what type of cousins are you? Are you cousins like? How are you cousins?
Cousins like us, like we're cousins. I dated his cousin for a short period of time too.
Isn't that your cousin?
Not my cousin.
That's his cousin.
His cousin.
They're cousins, but that's his cousin.
We're like cousins, but like they're cousins.
All right, we're not going to ask any more
I
questions.
also love Lindustry. Lindustry's
Oh, yeah.
that's great. Phenomenal pizza.
Okay. Best burger.
Best burger. I love the aged burger at Minetta Tavern. I still love that burger. And I'm gonna throw in hometown. I'm gonna throw in Red Hook Tavern.
It's unbelievable. It's
Red
the
Hook
best
Tavern.
burger I've ever had in my
Billy
entire
Durney.
life.
Shout out Billy Durney.
Shout out Billy.
Yeah.
Billy's the fucking man,
incredible.
dude. He's
Sushi?
incredible.
Sushi Naz. Incredible.
That's on the Upper East?
Yep.
I did not like it.
Really?
You know, it's interesting. When
enough
I was
food.
doing some research for you, when Carbone got its first review, I think it was from either New Yorker or Time Out. You were like second best restaurant, not the first review, but one of your reviews, second best restaurant. And you were second best restaurant to Sushi Nakazawa. And I confused it with Nas at first. And I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, are you kidding me? What the fuck? I will say Sushi Nakazawa was fantastic.
Nakazawa was great.
It is fantastic. I did not like Sushi Nakazawa. I preferred Carbone to Sushi Nakazawa, but I will say that I thought Sushi Nakazawa, and I'll tell you why. The waiter there had this encyclopedic knowledge of the sake, and he was this Korean guy. Like, he wasn't even Japanese. He was telling me the different ways each of he could have been making it up, dude.
Probably was.
But it was phenomenal, and it was like transporting me. There was an experience there that was really good. So that place was good. Okay, so best sushi, you say Nas. Really, I did not like Nas at all.
Nakazawa was a great call. I'll take Nakazawa.
Okay. Chinese.
Cafe China, Szechuan, spicy as fuck.
Indian food.
I love Szechuan. Cafe China.
Indian
India.
food.
Indian food. Well, we're about to get Gymkhana from London, which is my favorite Indian food in the world. Have you been to Gymkhana?
You're the whitest person.
That's made by brown people.
I mean, listen, they were so kind when I went there, but it was not made for,
you didn't
the
like
spice level was non-existent, I will
goodness.
say.
How was the quality of that meal?
It was cool, but it's like venison biryani, and like, oh, that's cool, but like, just give me this good stuff. You know
You
what I
want
mean?
the street stuff.
I want the
He wants an armpit.
I don't
He
want
needs
the
an
street
armpit.
stuff.
Back to Jersey.
No, he needs the street
I
shit.
am telling you.
He also doesn't like anything popular. Like he immediately rejects it because it's
He
popular.
hates Drake.
Yeah.
I just said Torrisi's best dining experience I had in New York City.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Rich, did you hear that, Rich?
It's not boding well. It's not.
Oh, thank you, good sir.
Garibaldi for chef.
This is a Garibaldi.
Oh, what is that?
This is orange juice, Campari, and a little bit of Aperol.
You're gonna
Whip it
love
up.
one of these.
Really?
fantastic.
Could I try one of those? too?
Absolutely, on the way.
Thanks so much.
5 drinks, bro. What's
I'm
going
trying
on?
it. It's not considered drinking if you're trying it.
He's doing a
You
flight.
have it. He's gonna get me one. He's gonna get me one. He's gonna get me one.
Okay, what about
best-
Mexican?
Mexican. I just opened a great Mexican restaurant.
Where?
In Miami.
What is it?
It's called Chateau. It's an old French chateau that we made this like really dope Mexican restaurant out of. Because I actually got a chance to spend a bunch of time in Mexico. in my
Mexico
life.
City?
Mexico City, but traveling around a little bit to other regions as well. My favorite Mexican here. I mean, Cosme is amazing.
Cosme is incredible.
amazing. I mean,
I've heard that place is
I know
proposed to
that
my
is the
wife there.
Gymkhana.
Yeah.
The Gymkhana of Italian. fucking
Oh,
Indian,
dude.
but
Enrique, I thought Enrique is like a
legit,
really a respected
legit,
chef.
legit.
Yeah,
I think Cosme is. I think they got one of the best desserts in the city.
Oh, the corn.
The cornhusk meringue. It's
Incredible. That's one of the best dishes in the world.
really.
That's one of the. I mean, I'd put that in like one of the 10 best dishes in the world.
Bro, that's another thing. Like Mexico City specifically, as just a world. I always say this. It's a world class city. Like you can't think of it any differently. You think of New York, Paris, Rome. Like especially when it comes to dining.
Yep.
Like Pujol. Did you go to Pujol?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Pujol's incredible.
He's
Contramar, Pujol. Even like their old breakfast spots, like called Cardinal, like the old school Mexican breakfast spots, like the Sedels of Mexico City. They're incredible.
yeah. Okay. Best chocolate chip cookie in the city.
I don't know if I have an answer for that. I don't know if I've done a lot of chocolate chip cookie research.
Are you a sweets guy?
I am a sweets guy. I'm a sucker. Italians are suckers for like sweet breakfasts. I don't know why. It's like they're a big pastry coffee culture. So I think I'm a sucker for that stuff too. Like all things from donuts to like all things croissant. I love all that shit.
best bakery then.
Best bakery.
They're talking my fat ass language.
Bakeries.
Is this hard since you know all these people? Like, is it like asking us who the best
No.
comedians are?
No, there's a bakery in Brooklyn called Apartment 4F. That's great.
Oh, I've heard of this place. Yeah,
They make some
Brooklyn Heights.
really incredible pastries and breads.
yeah.
Balthazar's Bakery I've always loved.
Yeah, it's fire.
Okay.
Always love that. I love the old school donut shops like Peter Pan.
Oh, Peter Pan's great. Yeah.
I love donuts. I fucking love donuts.
Yeah.
If you were to go to an Italian restaurant, you needed to judge the quality of the food with one dish.
Ooh, great.
What would you order?
Great question.
I would order like a dry pasta, not a fresh pasta. Dry pasta. It's trickier to make. So something like a spaghetti or penne rigatoni, a dry pasta, cooked perfectly, cooked from scratch, al dente, sauced right. It's trickier than it takes a certain touch of someone that really knows what they're doing.
Oh, interesting.
Fresh pasta is easier. It's more forgiving. It's soft. It's luxurious. It only cooks in a few seconds. It's good with just plain butter. It's harder with a dry pasta. It's trickier.
That's interesting.
What is the thing on the menu at Carbone that you think people should order? Like the thing you're most proud of that people aren't ordering as much as the spicy rig?
Our pork chops. We serve great pork chops, but
I would
because of
never
the veal,
think-
because of veal parm,
Yeah.
I don't
it
eat
gets
beef, so
bulldozed.
that's what I'll do.
We serve a fantastic, big, thick cut pork chop with vinegar peppers, which is a classic Italian American dish. that I order a lot when I'm there as a customer, which is really important to be a customer, like to sit in the seat of a customer.
Yeah.
I get a whole different set of notes than I do when I'm in the kitchen. But pork chop with vinegar peppers, great dish.
That's the one. All right, what about at Torrisi?
A dish that doesn't get ordered that often. His menu's smaller. He sells a lot of everything. The duck at Torrisi.
I've heard.
He's a duck master. We probably shouldn't say this, but we used to have. So when we first opened Dirty French on the Lower East Side,
Thank you, sir.
Rich had developed a technique for cooking duck where the duck had to age for 30 days like beef. And what would happen was the skin got super dry and crispy when you cooked it, but also it tenderizes the meat just like it does with beef. We were selling a lot of duck. We couldn't hold all the ducks we needed in the restaurant to age them for 30 days. So we rented an apartment across the street.
No way.
On Ludlow, across the street from the restaurant, and the landlord didn't care at all. Like the landlord had no idea what we were doing. We just moved refrigerators. There's no furniture. It was just refrigerators in an apartment across the street on Ludlow Street, and ducks hanging throughout the apartment, aging in this apartment. And then every day at 4:00, you'd see a cook come out with just a tray of ducks from this apartment into the restaurant.
And it just sounds like a racist conspiracy. These Chinese people are hiding ducks in apartments downtown.
Don't say that.
Meanwhile, there's Rich Torrisi.
How often are restaurants hacking the margins? Where you try to take an item that's going to sell well, but it's also the cheapest to make, but you price it the highest. Or like they'll do this with wine sometimes. Sometimes they'll make like the cheapest wine or one of the cheaper wines more expensive to try to like create a psychological effect.
Have you heard about this? It's like what movie theaters used to do, where they charge a certain amount for the small Coke and then the medium and the large.
Right.
Are you guys doing that with wine?
I mean, no, we're trying to apply you don't apply, like for us, for example, we don't apply the same price structure to an expensive bottle of wine as you do to a less expensive bottle of wine. So you're looking at like a 3-time markup on a less expensive bottle of wine, $100 or less. And then as it gets more and more expensive, the markup becomes smaller. So like if it costs us $500, we're not charging $1,500. We're probably charging closer to $1,000 on it. While a bottle that costs us $30, we might charge $90. Right. So there's a greater threshold on a less expensive bottle than there is on a more expensive bottle. Those margins are critical to the survival of a restaurant, because at the end of the day, the final number at the bottom is generally a really small, like everyone, like if you know anything about restaurants, you know that they're generally going to close and that you don't make a ton of money. So that money that's made in alcohol is critical to the life of a restaurant. Also, it's, as opposed to food, it's non-perishable, right? Like if you fucked up and you ordered 40 ducks this week and only 20 people ordered the duck, like you're gambling on something that's very perishable, right? Now you're eating it for staff meal and you lost money. So it's a very fine dance with food and perishable items to get the number right so that they don't come to the table and be like, sorry, we're out of the duck tonight, or we eat it for staff meal. What's in between those two is like really knowing how to run this business. And it's a fine dance.
If you're on a date with a girl, like let's say you've gone on a couple dates, you get a reservation at Carbone, you really want to impress her. Is there anything you can do internally to send like a message to really like blow her mind? Like something with like dessert, but not like corny?
You want to send a message to her?
Yeah, like if you want to like, have a good experience. I'm sure there's some people listening.
Mark's never been on a fucking date.
I'm sure there's some people
you're on a
listening.
second
He
date with a
married
girl?
the first girl he met. He married the first girl.
I'm taking her to Carbone.
I would go back to the implementing the bring a beer rule. Like you're going out on a date and you carry like this gift for the kitchen, and she wants to like, what are you doing? Why you got like a 12-pack Coors Light? Like, oh no, it's a thing that we do
for the guys.
And like that's gonna put you in a position of like, who is this guy? He's a regular. He's a regular. He got a Carbone reservation, and he knows this place so well that he brought beers for the kitchen. Like,
that's fair.
And then all of a sudden, they're going to start sending extras out, compliments of the chef. Now you look pretty great.
Right.
So I would go back to that strategy.
Yeah. Tell me about this F1 thing.
F1 is our 4th year of doing it. I mean, obviously, Miami is at its like capacity that weekend. The city's crazy. So the first year we were sort of like, okay, well, if the restaurant's so full, maybe we can do something else. Like there's such a demand for this weekend. What can we do that's like over the top to meet the weekend? So we kind of devised this idea of like throwing this like really elaborate supper club dinner party where there's a performance, there's house bands, Ricky sings.
Ricky can sing?
Oh yeah, he's Sinatra.
Oh, wow.
Ricky?
What's your favorite Sinatra song?
Oh, My Way. Gotta be My Way.
Without a doubt, yeah.
I mean,
But he could also fly me to the moon.
he'll give you. I mean,
But keep going.
he loves a good saloon song. He loves a good sad song.
Like what?
You got to bring him out.
That's like
Oh,
he can
we
bust
need-
that one out.
Yeah, we got three. We got three good ones. Okay, but tell me. Do we have any sashitas? But go on.
So there's like about 400 or 500 people that come. We build this giant, amazing tent on the sand of Miami Beach. There's a headlining performer every year. The very first one we ever got was Andrea Bocelli, which was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what? Where in Miami Beach?
It's on basically 21st and Collins on the beach.
Where's that close to? What hotel?
It's like right where all the hotels are. So like right behind the Satai.
Okay.
On the actual sand, we build the kitchen, the whole thing. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, in conjunction with F1, and it's pretty great. I mean, it's a Carbone meal, but like plus. It's like Carbone meets form of the 12 Caesars. It's like really over the top, and add all the live music, a giant, ice sculpture, raw bar, and we throw everything at it.
How does the average person go to something like this? Impossible.
No, I mean, Amex sells their tickets through. You can buy tickets through them. You can buy tickets through us. You can get them, at majorfoodgroup.com. You can get them through our, all the individual restaurants. We sell them on Instagram. I think Saturday sold out, but we still have tickets for Friday.
I went to F1 Miami, I think 2 years ago. That was the place to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the
After
last
everything,
performance last year was
the
Lauryn
place.
Hill, and it was one of.
How'd you get
wow.
Lauren was one of the great ones we've ever had, but we've had some amazing ones. But Lauren brought the house down.
She's one of my favorites ever.
Brought the house down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's next? What do you want? You've achieved all the dreams.
I don't have a lot of wants. It's amazing. I mean, like things are fucking amazing. I mean, I've far exceeded my own expectations.
Thank you, sir.
There you go, Rick.
You're a good
She's
man.
got the orange. She's got the orange handkerchief for Frank.
Wait. We got a little light. Hold on. I've heard that you have a phenomenal voice.
I sing a little bit. That's very kind of you to say, but I'm a huge fan of the American Popular Songbook.
Oh, really?
And, music has been a big part of my life and my family, and we used to sing around the house growing up. So I figured I might as well give it a shot.
Yeah, whatever
Love
you
this,
love. I mean, we would love to hear something. Where are you from?
I'm from Yonkers, New York.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Okay,
not too far.
what is the song? The song that you would go to, the song that lights up the house.
Well, there's many, but just to give you, you want to hear a little something now?
Please.
Yes.
Fly me to the moon.
Hey.
Let me play among the stars. Let me see what life is like on Jupiter and Mars. Something like that. In other words, hold my hand, my man. In other words, baby, kiss me. We do something like that.
What about That's Life?
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Oh, give us some of that, dude.
Yeah, that's life. That's what all the people say.
Wow.
You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that tune when I'm back on top in June. Oh, I could keep going, but thank you so much. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much. Great ding ding, you know what I mean?
You're a fucking legend, dude. He's great.
Oh, he's awesome. Have you ever had any princes come to you?
Prince,
But like royalty or like a shake
What's
or something?
the weirdest
Yeah,
request?
Jay-Z's been to the restaurant.
There's a good
I
one.
mean, like we had Obama when he was still sitting president come in,
Wow.
which was
New York,
New York, yeah. To have him as the sitting president eat at the restaurant and the protocol that goes around that is bananas.
Okay, what's the protocol?
Well, I was one of the only people that knew about it, so I was pretty convinced that they were watching my phone, so I didn't tell anybody. Because it was that night it was unannounced. So No one knew that he was supposed to be there. So at that point, Secret Service deems anyone that's in the restaurant to be safe because they don't know what's happening. So they don't need to check that, right?
That's interesting.
So the second that he shows up, then they go full. They shut down all communication, all phones stop working. They set up a metal detector outside. Someone goes to every exit downstairs throughout. There's someone in the kitchen with me. And immediately, the second he walks in, then things sort of shut down. But it was amazing. He walked in, the place went absolutely bananas. And so to have him there as the sitting president of the United States, and he's been back since, but like to have him there that night was pretty unbelievable.
Does he order, or does he say, "Give me your best hits"?
They ordered for someone at the table ordered for everybody, and he ordered his drink, which was a dirty, I think he's a dirty gin martini. So the only thing he ordered was his cocktail, but everything else just came out.
So does he speak on any of the dishes?
I went to the table. I said hi to him. He's unreasonably cool for President of the United States. He got up at the end of the night. He kind of addressed everybody in the crowd, which was amazing.
Where do you seat him in the restaurant?
We have one table in the back that's like tucked
To the left.
Yeah, tucked all the way up, so that you know the most unbothered of all the locations.
But when he stands up, he knows that everybody's looking at him.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a standing ovation. Like
There's
Every night for dinner.
So here's the thing. I was at the Comedy Cellar once, and like Madonna was upstairs. She actually went on stage and did some comedy I didn't watch, but she was upstairs, and it was like a very weird experience because the gravitational pull to her, like any conversation you and I would be having, was a pretend conversation as we like through the side of our eye watched Madonna, and the fact that he would get up and just acknowledge that, I think is quite honorable. Like it's the most authentic thing you can do because you know everybody's fucking staring at you the entire
You
time.
finish, you're like, everyone can have a look.
Yeah.
Then I'll leave.
Does someone taste Obama's food?
Yeah, that's the great question.
There was a person in the kitchen that they have like a whole like kit with them, a giant briefcase, and all that they asked of me that night was to let them know when we were preparing his food, and he got real close to kind of the preparation of it, but I don't remember them like tasting it ahead of time. I thought they were going to.
That briefcase is doing something.
There's like there's a whole kit of something in that briefcase that never came out.
Did Daniel Boulud ever congratulate you, validate you, give you your flowers? Was there ever a moment that he had with you that was really important to you?
Well, we're very close now still, which is great with Danielle and Jean-Georges.
Danielle, sorry.
It's important for Rich and I that we're close with that generation because they were our heroes, and they're still operating at a really high level, which is amazing. Rich was even closer to Danielle because he had worked there for like far more years than I had. So that relationship's really important to him, but it's important to me as well. He definitely gives us our flowers, as does JG, Jean-Georges. And I think that relationship means the world to us because those coming up, reading the review every Wednesday in the New York Times as kids to see who got reviewed and to see their names and to eventually work with them and now to be their kind of colleagues and peers is everything.
Have you ever had a personal moment with him where he's like, "Hey, I'm really proud of you," or even Mario? Any of these people you really looked up?
I mean, I've had a lot of moments with Mario. I spent a lot of years with Mario. I've had moments with Danielle telling him that story about like the resume and having that moment with him where I get to tell him that story.
What did he say?
He doesn't remember it, but he loves that happened. He loves that we're alumni. That means a lot to him. So to see the pride that we came from his kitchen, that we made it, is the greatest possible reward for us. That goes back to that we made it in New York, and that was the biggest thing we could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
I never thought about a restaurant in Hong Kong. I just wanted to be. I wanted to be big here.
Have you ever been asked?
Real quick, and then with Rich specifically, you have to have an ego to be a chef. But you and Rich seemingly have navigated the fact that you both have a lot of ambition and egos and have built this like incredible company. Maybe with the Zelensky, he did a little bit or whatever. But we love you, Jeff. But I don't like a lot of times bands break up.
Yeah.
You guys have done this thing. Like I imagine there's been difficult times, but has there ever been any reflection where you both look back and you're like, holy shit, we both got big egos. We're like really ambitious. We're really confident, but we managed to kind of stick together and build out this amazing company. Do you talk about that ever?
We talk about it from time to time for sure. I mean, there's definitely moments, especially because you're creating something, so you're sensitive to it. So when we're criticizing each other for the betterment of whatever that thing is, you can't help but get emotional about it. I made that, so like I'm sensitive to it. That still happens today. I think the confidence that we have in that whole like the band's not going to break up thing is that, especially with Rich, I've known him my whole life, right? I've known him since I was a kid, since we're teenagers. So we know that if we're fighting about something or we're not agreeing, we're butting heads about something, that it's just like when you're doing that with your actual brother. Like
You built a friendship before the business.
You're not going to break up with your brother.
Right.
Like you're going to fight with him, you're going to call him a dick and something's going to happen. And then tomorrow's going to be tomorrow because that's your brother and he's going to be there. And like, you're not going to break up with your sibling. So I think that that's what we have. And it's never going to get so blown out of proportion that this whole thing is going to be a house of cards.
I will say one thing on the menu. We were talking about like the sneak things on that Torrisi menu, the Zeppelis.
Zeppelin ham.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And it's like a
Pineapple, yeah.
Have you had the avocado?
Yeah. I like an
I
avocado.
like the shaved part of it.
Yeah,
But
that was great.
as much shit as we give him back, that Zeppeli thing,
I get it every time I go.
it's fun. I think that's really cool. I think it's easy when people get successful to kind of rupture, break up, or whatever. I think it's something that like, not saying that we've achieved your guys' success, but like it's something that is important to us to like maintain, like the friendship comes first. Something that Akash always reminds us every single time that there's any kind of confrontation. It's like, why do we do this? Because we're friends.
The confrontation's good.
Yeah, we should bump heads.
The confrontation's good.
Yeah.
If you guys just agree with each other all the time, then like
What are we doing?
what are you doing, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to have people that are challenging you, and you're going to be sensitive about it. You like made this thing, you wrote that. That was my joke, or that was my idea. Like you got to just acknowledge that we're all creatives and we're sensitive artists, at our core. But it's not gonna break us. This is the whole point, is that we're gonna make each other better. Where the sum of our parts are gonna be greater than us as an individual.
Okay, before we get out of here, why is New York City the greatest city in the world?
I mean, there's just not another city that looks like this, right? There's not another city that looks like New York. I think for those that sort of complain about the classic New York isn't what it was, I think you're misunderstanding the point of New York. New York's job is to change.
Exactly what he said.
I say this all the time.
Exactly
Yeah,
what
New
he
York's
said.
job
So annoying that you
is
said
to-
the exact same fucking thing. I can't tell you how
Yeah.
annoyed I am.
There's a generation of 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are getting their first taste of New York.
Yeah.
It's the great tournament of New York. Like, how long are you going to be here? How many rounds are you going to make? It's here to be the great editor. There's so much to learn from this place. New York is not the one that our parents remember. It's not the one from my grandparents when they came.
not the
through
one from
Ellis
our
Island.
childhood.
Yeah.
It's not the one from our childhood. That's what makes New York great. It's malleable. It's here for the next generation. It's going to challenge the next one.
Yeah.
And for those that are still here,
No,
right? It's the great tournament of life that is Manhattan or New York City.
Yeah. Do you still live here?
I do not still
There
live
you
here.
go.
Before we go,
That's my camera. Now.
it's as you were, I don't want to say given opportunities, but earned opportunities from these, great chefs. Are there any young creative chefs that you're seeing right now in New York City that we can shine a light on? I think it's important to us, definitely as New Yorkers, to like shine a light on young comedians that are coming up in New York, but also any industry for someone that we bring on the podcast. Are there any young restaurateurs out here that you really believe in, like people you're seeing with promise?
Yeah, it's hard when the financial world is in a questionable place, right? It's hard for young aspiring restaurateurs or any industry to get the backing in a shaky financial moment to do something. So in times like this, you're going to see less creativity because it's too risky. You're going to see more status quo. You're going to see more safe plays. You're going to see people taking chances when it's safer to take chances.
When money's cheap.
When the economy's healthy and money is cheap and there's investors out there looking to take chances on you. So it's a tough time for that generation, like it was for us coming out of 08. There's not a lot of us that are going to get that break, and we had to do crazy shit to get those 6 tables. So I'm here for those who are out there, who are challenging. Guys like Kwame, Tatiana, who are doing incredible work right now. It's a tough time, man. It's a tough time to take
Any
a chance.
other little guys? It could be it could be 6 tables. Like anybody that you've seen, you've tasted recently.
Industry. I remember when industry was just starting, right?
Yeah.
These 2 guys who looked and felt a lot like me and Rich when we first got to that pizzeria, but you see it in their eyes. It's like Tony Montana, man. Like it's the eyes, man. Like you can see that guy.
They're hungry.
Yeah.
They're gonna make it, man. I don't care. Like
There was that guy that was making pizza, I think Chrissy's Pizza or something, in the oven in his apartment. Like,
in Brooklyn?
Yeah, in Brooklyn. I think Chrissy's Pizza. Yeah, similar vibe, I assume.
like you're not gonna tell them no. Like they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna make it through it.
Yeah.
Are tariffs affecting the restaurant industry at all?
They're going to. Yeah, I mean, we're just starting to see it, but it's going to, and I think that its greatest effect is going to be in cost to the customer. Yeah, it's going to get passed on, right? I think certainly for us, like if my options are choose a lesser ingredient than what I'm accustomed to bringing in because it's too expensive, or bring that ingredient in at the additional cost and pass it on to the customer, I'm going to choose that one, right? Because I feel like I've made a promise to my customers to give them the best ingredients in the world. And if I'm saying that I need that, I'm not going to choose something else. So it's going to get passed on to them, unfortunately, right? I think that's where it's going to manifest itself, is in rising costs to customers.
Okay, last one.
Yeah.
Italian American. You put a spotlight on Italian American cuisine, as you said. It becomes one of the most successful restaurants in the world. And I'm not even talking about financially, but in terms of notoriety. Is there like a moment where you kind of like look back and you feel this sense of pride in your culture? You know, this is a sauce joint that now is being mentioned in Drake songs.
Yeah.
What does that kind of feel like? Do you feel the community? Are they supportive of it? Are they happy of it?
I feel like it is a function. I feel like Carbone is a functioning museum, right? I think that it's Italian Americans, not dissimilar to any sort of other immigrant path, right? The whole point of this journey, if you follow it back to your ancestors, my ancestors from Southern Italy leaving a place to come to the United States for the betterment of the next generation, right? The entire point of the experiment was for us to assimilate into just becoming Americans, and to sort of eventually become less and less Italian. As each generation passes, you become just Americans. That was the whole point of this assimilation. To me, for community, for what we're doing, what I'm leaving behind, I have great pride in that Carbone stands as a nightly functioning museum that you can go to, you can visit, you can consume what was the woolly mammoth that is the Italian American in New York in 1950s. Because my children will be less Italian than I am, as I am less Italian than my parents are. And that's the point. When you lament the fact that there are no Italians in Little Italy, you are also proving the point of what the purpose of that was. They weren't supposed to stay here. They were supposed to just become Americans. That's why they left their country. So when it was at its most potent, and I chose that period, the first generation of Italian Americans in 1950, to make this thing, to make this play that's thankfully had a very long run. We're fucking cats over here. We're 10 years in and we're still going. You get to experience this museum because over time, the Italian American will just become the American. So I get to do this thing. And
so you get to maintain your culture while at the same time embracing this new identity, which was the point of it all.
I believe the point of it all.
That's beautiful.
Mario Carbone, everybody.